Yes, I'm sure you watched it. Good. Okay. All right, I downloaded a transcription of it because, when you're watching it, it's that Simon Says, Republicans stand up, Ted Kennedy, roll your eyes. Hillary Clinton look bored, they're always whipping the camera and like, oh, she's so pissed, he's so bored. And like everyone's like, fucking A, fucking A, fucking A, fucking A. And so I downloaded one version of it and was missing all his mistakes and everything. And then I downloaded it from WashingtonPost.com last night and got a really good transcription. Because there's a few things that really burn my ass, and I just want to just point out, and not that I'm some pundit expert type, I'm just a layman like you, just someone who's trying to figure out what's going on with our country because you love this place and you're concerned. Okay, here's a couple of things that really bugged me. How he kept bringing up the idea of faith-based charities, faith-based this, faith-based that. He initiated a program that wants to when all the prisoners come out of jail, 6,000 a year or so, he wants to send millions to help them readjust into the U.S. workforce. This is cool. He wants to give them hope and a chance to get themselves together and a job. He also included into that little paragraph, before everyone stood up and applauded, that some of the people who'd be getting the money to help these prisoners would be faith-based charities. And so, how much do you want to bet that just allows him to give the money to his Pat Roberts kind of Christian Nazi buddies? Now, some of you are Christian, and none of us here have a problem with you being a Christian because you're not blowing up abortion clinics. And I know a lot of Christians, and they're totally cool. They got the thing, everyone has a thing, but it's just, I don't like the president telling me that my tax dollars are going to go to some faith-based thing to help out other people. It burns me because I know that it's going to be Christians getting the dough, and definitely not any Muslim charities are going to get contributed to. Remember the Nation of Islam? We can't get anything? Okay, fine. And I think we're going to be in for something like that. And then he had one of those great, that speech, if you notice, was very well written, and he obviously had rehearsed it. It had none of those hilarious little endearing tics that are so that we've grown so used to with the Bush administration. Like the other day, with the "Let's Go to Mars" speech. I'm sorry about this noise coming out of something is frying and burning over here. So you hear that hissing sound? It's not my prefrontal cortex. It's not the proverbial egg dropped. This is your mind on drugs. It's kind of an old building with a sound system that's having some bad electricity going through it. I apologize. So anyway, you all watched, or maybe some of you watched. You're busy. You're working for a living. I dick around all day. Maybe you had time to watch the NASA speech. He did two of those really beautiful, endearing Bushisms. One thing he does when he gets 3 or 4 words right, and it's a term that that he's so proud that he got all the words in the right order. He looks like the guy who's looking for the attaboy. And he'll look up, and it's so Mayberry RFD, he'll just look up and put the little badge right here. Thanks. And after the pause, he says, why, we've developed the global positioning system. If you've ever seen TV shows where they have the dog does something, the dog will always look off the stage to the trainer. Like the dog will bring the leash to somebody in the funny dog movie, what do I do now? Do I get out of here? Do I get the biscuit? Do I do the next command? And so he always does that thing where he's like, global positioning system. Like, I just learned this morning, and you have no idea what it is. Oh, is that thing I have in my fucking car? And then he always kind of goes like, and I'm just wondering if that's Condoleezza Rice in the corner going, keep saying those words one after another, you're gonna get through this. And so he did that, and then he goes on, and I thought I was the only one who spotted it. Mike and I were sitting on the bus, and he said, I'd like to thank the efforts of those courageous spatial entrepreneurs. Those are the astronauts who are a spatial entrepreneur. Okay, when he said that, did you notice that he looks off to his left, and that means I'm going off the page. I'm gonna bust an improv. And he looks off, and he hesitates because that hard drive is like, And he goes, I'd like to thank the courageous efforts of those. I'm like, oh, here he goes! Here he goes! Courageous spatial entrepreneurs. Huh? Like, your little nephew wouldn't come up with dumb shit like that. He got to get upside the head with a fucking pan. And you're like, ah! And so I thought I had that one all to myself, and every night I'm on the stage going, courageous spatial entrepreneurs. Last night I had a night off, so I went online and I typed in courageous spatial entrepreneurs, and there's like, now there's courageousspatialentrepreneurs.com. There's a logo of the moon with a soul sign across it. The funny boys of cyberspace have already descended upon that one. But the other day, if you notice, he was very well rehearsed for his State of the Union address. And so I took exception with him trying to get my tax dollars, your tax dollars, to pay for Christian activity. I have nothing against Christian activity. It's just that I don't want my tax dollars going to it. I live in America because church is over here, state is over here, and we don't like put them in the same mixing bowl. I'm not one of those like, you're those people who are like Senator Rollins and hacky sacks. This is just the start, man! It's a fucking conspiracy! They're gonna start burning books! Fucking wash yourself and shut the fuck up. Thoroughly invasive, and the way they just kind of slid that in, and the way he says, oh God, that was a beautiful one. Let's unleash the compassion of the faith-based community. Unleash the passion. I'm gonna hug you. Come here. It's like running at someone. Come here. Come on. Wait for the compassion. Wait for it, fucker. I love you. And it's like, it'd be like Rosie O'Donnell with a harpoon still in her ribs, running after you naked, just going, ugh. And some of you may have been fans of hers, but you still don't want any tongue from that woman, especially with Queequeg's mighty harpoon still sticking out of her side as he wrenched her from the salty brine. And so that pissed me off. And then, some of you might disagree with me on this. And if we disagree on that, that's cool. I like it when we disagree because we're still buddies at the end of all this. Without taking a stand on gay marriage, he said, well, years ago, Bill Clinton, he passed this thing that was, the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman as God sees it, basically. So if there's anybody going, you motherfucker, if gay guys want to get married, like, who the fuck are you? You go, hey. But blame your guy who was getting it underneath the desk with that Monica Lewinsky lady. It weren't me. And that's a way to take a stand without taking a stand, which is just a pussy-ass thing. And so I'm like jack off in the street. I can say whatever I want. If there's got to be at least 1 to 50 gay people in this room. This is America. You want to be gay? Awesome. If you're gay, it's not like it's poor potty training. That's just how you turned out. And it's cool. And the best place to be gay in the world is America. You don't want to be in Afghanistan and be gay. It might not be the easiest ride. Okay? This is the land of the free. You homophobes, don't you ever fucking forget it. Okay? If a guy and a guy, 2 girls want to get married, who the fuck are you to have an opinion about? Well, I don't think, fine, you don't think, but don't when the president says that these people, these goddamn homos who seem to be in love or something, when they're just goddamn bunch of pervos, they're undermining the sanctity of marriage. All they want to do is get married. They don't want to undermine shit. They just want to live their lives together like you want to be with your girl or your guy. Undermine, they're trying to do it by the book. They're signing on the dotted line. They're trying to do the shit right. And if we don't let that shit happen, you can't say that you live in a progressive country. We got to get on this stuff and get God off the money, get God out of the courtroom. Like, I don't believe in God, but I think God is cool. If it gets some people through the night, fine. I live in a lot of hotels. I read the Bible all the time, mostly New Testament. It's a fucking good read, man. There's a lot of good common sense in there, a lot of really good stories. Matthew, Ecclesiastes, great shit, man. In fact, there's a line in Ecclesiastes which, for me, is the Bush administration. he comes from prison to rule, and thus by ruling imprisons everyone else. I'm paraphrasing, but you wish you wrote that shit. And so I can't be putting any of that down. And having been to Israel and gone up the old Via Dolorosa and hung out at the Wailing Wall, I kind of dig Jesus too. And if, I believe he was around, and he probably would have been a really kind of hip pot smoking, girl grabbing Lenny Bruce type. That's just my opinion. Oh, that's sacrilege. Oh, come on, Jesus loves me. If he's around somewhere, he thinks I'm pretty fucking cool. And you know something? He wouldn't have anything against anybody gay. He would just go all right then, that's the way you're swinging? Cool. Check this out people growing all over the fucking place. Okay, so that happened. So let's not dwell on the negative. Oh, let's do for just a moment. So that was the State of the Union address. You should go to WashingtonPost.com where they ask you to sign your name and your birth date. I lied like a motherfucker. I was born in 1814 and I'm the head of the Ku Klux Klan. Bam! I was right on the site. So if I were you, that's the only place I would have been able to find a real transcript of the whole thing. It's interesting reading. I was up till about 5 o'clock this morning. I couldn't sleep, so I read it twice, and it's obviously not written by Bush. It's very well done. And it does push across a pretty fierce agenda. And okay, I'll say something really mean. I bet there's really no millionaires in this building. There's probably nobody in here who's clearing 6 figures a year. And there's probably nobody here who doesn't have some kind of credit card problem, credit card woes. I'm not putting you down, I'm just saying that's an American way of being. We're always kind of like, fuck, here comes the bill. Okay? Is your house paid off? No. Are you paying rent and getting by okay? How's your car? Good car? How's your job? You like it? Or are you making enough to live on? Are you living okay? Or are you just kind of getting by? Right, so you wish things could be better. Okay, for those of you who I just addressed, this is just opinion, not fact. My opinion is you cannot survive another 4 years of George W. Bush. With the way it's going, you can't survive it. He's not a president, he's the CEO of America, okay? And here's another bit of negativity. Everyone here likes Levi jeans. You might be wearing jeans every once in a while. Denim, beautiful stuff. It's great American fabric. You can no longer buy Levi's jeans in this country that were made in this country. Every Levi jean is now made outside of America. I'm one of those horrible people who actually wants to pay more taxes, and I don't mind paying $6 more for a pair of Levi's if they could be made in the Midwest or here in your town. Just to keep the business here. And I use the internet like you do with some kind of weird oracle. You can go to Google like a Ouija board, just type in shit like. I hunt down old girlfriends and stuff. And that's how it is when you're 43 and single and you just dick around at home all night and you're like, don't sleep. So the internet's great for a guy like me. I wonder if there's a list out there of every major American company who outsources all their parts and labor. Because I would really like a list of every American company who has the balls to stand up and say exactly where all their parts are made from. Because then I'd like to patronize all the companies that really do make all their stuff in America, get all their source material from America, and employ American citizens. Because here's what we've got. We've got a real problem in this country. We've got a money problem, but the solution is within our own borders. We have the resources to feed ourselves, and feed a lot of other people too. That's how great our country is. We also have all the solutions here. And so you have a president who says, depend on big business. We don't need to regulate these companies. They'll watch their own toxic emissions. Like the fuck they will. Because it'll send their stock prices down because they'll have to retrofit all their factories to the cost of like hundreds of millions of dollars to make the air safer. So Bush says, don't worry, they'll do it because they're responsible and they're compassionate. The fuck they are. And so he's saying, depend on big business, put your money back into the economy. But it seems to me, I'm just the layman, it seems to me that the economy just seems to take our money as quickly as it can and shoot it out to Hong Kong, Thailand, and places like South Korea for manufacturing. I've been to all those places except for South Korea, and these are nice places. These are really good folks. I've been to Thailand a bunch of times. A nicer group of people you'd be hard-pressed to meet. But there's a lot of people here without jobs. So the solution seems to me, keep the shit inland, Raise a few prices, so what? You know, so what? You pay a little bit more for your socks. At least the guy down the road's got a job, and that is your countryman, that's your neighbor. You got to dig it just a little bit. And so that's just me sounding off. Okay, so we get off the mean negative shit, except for just this one last thing. No, actually 2 last things. Okay, and this is just a heads up to the ladies out here tonight, because there's at least 12 of you here. And I treat you like little 4-year-old girls in that I just kind of unconditionally like you. I like women. They're gushy in the right places, and if you can kind of keep them caged and controlled, they're rather fun. I mean, if you can get a place where you can like, get them behind bars and like, poke them with a stick to wake them up, and you know, if they allow you to duct tape their mouths shut when it's just time to shut up. You believe everything I say, right? But anyway, here's a thing that I'm really not kidding about. Here's a guy I just wanted to super quickly tell you about. His name is David Hager, and he heads up a part of the Food and Drug Administration called the Reproductive Health Drug Advisory Committee. Okay, now that's the people who manage your reproductive health drugs, like mifepristone, RU-486. Okay, the president needs no congressional okay to put this guy in business. David Hager has been the head of this since Bush got into office. He is a very intense Christian doctor who mixes Christian theology with medicine. He's published several books where he advises women when they're having PMS, and all of you women turn into psycho demons when you're PMSing. And many times us dumb guys can't figure out when you're PMSing or not. We think you're psycho 30 days a month. Are you PMSing? No! What's the matter? And so, here's a guy who advises women who are PMSing to get over their premenstrual woes by praying. Oh, that'll do it. Oh God, please let me be! Stop being such a bitch for a minute! And my prayer left unanswered! And so that's no good. He also, when he was a practicing doctor, he outlawed birth control for any unwed woman. And this is your body. It's not his body. It's not God's body. It belongs to you. In your ovaries and all that stuff, that's your business. And since you are the recipient of the load, and since guys are basically like FedEx and UPS delivery men, like, adios, and you're like Baghdad getting scudded, you should have a lot of options. And here's the guy who's running it, who doesn't dig you having an option, who wants to put you on some kind of psycho-Christian schedule that probably a lot of Christian people go, whoa, 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 dude, it's not up to you. And it is up to him. So here's the guy who should be really seeing the bigger picture so women in this country can feel safe getting birth control, getting advice on their bodies, getting safe abortions when they want to, when they need to, so we don't lose young girls in the night because they're afraid of telling their dads what happened. And this is the guy who's in power. Okay, one more thing, and then we're getting on to the really fun stuff. But okay, and I there's this really mean, nasty shit, but I would feel amiss if I didn't tell you, even though you probably already know this stuff. One last thing. Remember the other day, about what, week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, ex-Treasury Secretary Paul O'Neill said the president wanted to go into Iraq before 9/11. And then 48 hours later he said, well, I know I called him an idiot 2 days ago, but now I vote for him. And you just wonder, maybe that was a 3 a.m. phone call he got. Hey, asshole. Yeah. Who's your daughter, huh? Where's my daughter? She's married. She lives in Delaware. She has a kid. Yeah? We have your daughter right here, asshole. You want to talk to her? Huh? Who is this? Darn! He cooled the fuck out. Because like someone got to him and they said, wait a minute, didn't you just say that that the president kind of dissed you in an hour-long meeting, didn't ask you one question, just kind of let you just blather on mindlessly in the Oval Office? Yeah. And that you have proof that he went going for Iraq before 9/11? Yeah. So you want to elaborate on that? No. And you're going to vote for him, and I gotta go, and I'm going to disappear out of the media swim like right now, like fucking Houdini out of a straitjacket. And that's pretty intense. That's intense. That's intense like licking the milk off Martha Stewart's mustache. my ball just distended. Okay, so dig this. If you go on your web browser, go to a website, newamericancentury.org, where you can find out about an organization called the Project for the New American Century. It is a conservative think tank. You've heard of it, right? Okay. 12, 15 members? Here are some of the members. Bill Bennett, Jeb Bush, Dick Cheney, Wolfowitz, and Donald Rumsfeld. These are guys who are members of this. In 1998, you look on the sidebar of the website, it'll say Iraq. Click on that and you can download the 1998 letter, March something, February something, where they wrote, President Clinton said, "Sir, if we keep up the our present course in Iraq, we're going to get taken over, we're going to get invaded, we're going to get scudded by weapons of mass destruction. Inspections don't work, the region is unstable, we can't help out our friends in the region, we can't help our allies, Israel, and we got to go in there and remove this guy, go after the weapons of mass destruction, with or without unilateral support. We cannot urge you more strongly, the time to strike is now." Clinton, at the time, was a little busy of some woes of his own and could not take care of that bit of business. So for one reason or another, he blew it off. So that's an interesting letter. Now, what's really interesting is the letter that the Project for the New American Century wrote a few days later to Trent Lott and Newt Gingrich, which is 3 times the length. It's about 1,300 words, and their naked hostility and contempt for Clinton is just burning off the page. And they just said, look, this guy's a fucking pussy. We gotta go in, protect our interests, kick this fucking guy out now. Would you please put in a word to this guy who's getting it under his desk with this secretary? And read these letters. They were originally unearthed through the Freedom of Information Act. And to save face and cover their ass, they put it on their website, saying, we're not hiding anything. So these letters are there for you to download. What I'm saying is this. This thing has been in the works since 1998. If you read these 2 letters, it's 5 minutes of your time. You will see that all the language that we've been hearing for the last 2 years is in both of these letters. And it is basically a blueprint for the invasion of Iraq. So they put it out to a president who was not interested. Then they gave it to the next president who came down the pike, a man with absolutely no vision, who's surrounded by the people who babysat his father. And everyone around George W. Bush is infinitely smarter than George W. Bush. Dick Cheney's no dumb motherfucker. He's mean, he's bad, but he's not stupid. And neither is Rumsfeld, and neither is Rove and William Crystal, who is also part of the Project for the New American Century. And these guys are, have the president's ear. And that's why, opinion not fact, this is why all of a sudden, summer 2002, I don't know where you were, I was in London. All of a sudden, Heimlich, upon every front page of every newspaper in London I could get a hold of, Saddam Hussein's name, like out of nowhere, like, wham! And it took me a moment to remember, which motherfucker was that? Is he the Libyan dick? Is he the Syrian piece of shit? Oh, he's the Desert Storm asshole. It's been 10 years. We kicked his ass. Well, we're mad at him again? Imminent threat. Dun, 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 dun. Here's something that did not happen. Opinion again, but I bet you it didn't happen. I bet at one point in the Oval Office, George W. Bush did not wake up at like 3 in the morning, tears streaming down his face, forehead full of sweat, clutching his wife's shoulder, heaving with cries of distress. Wake up! Oh my God, George, what's the matter? I can't sleep. Why, what's the matter? The Iraqis! The Iraqis, the people of Iraq, gonna be depressed. Another thing, he's burying them alive, and he has this horrible son who's head of the Olympic Committee and the soccer team when the team loses. He tortures them and buries them alive, and they're being thrown up fucking roofs. I've never had a real job in my entire life. And I dodged back like a fucking pussy. I dumped all my fucking parking stock. And my dad is in with the SEC. That's why I didn't get Martha Stewart. And God damn it, I feel so bad. My heart bleeds because I'm so fucking compassionate. I want to go have 500 KIA and burn $100 billion because my heart bleeds. These people I can't even find on the fucking map.
That didn't happen.
And so those are just things to roll around. And I'm done with that. So anyway, here's something else. I want to tell you about this utterly insane, really cool conversation I had in, of all places, Hollywood, California, where culture and the intellect has gone to die. And you know how I live. I live to be here with you. I live for the tour, and I've averaged 104, 106 shows a year now for 24 years. More shows than Kiss and Gene and Paul will never catch up with me. I'm running like a demon down the road, more tours getting booked every second. I wouldn't have it any other way. Somehow, just me not planning my life very well, I live in California between tours. Don't go. If let's go to Hollywood. Don't do it. Don't. Just put a plastic bag over your head, breathe really fast until your brain is dying. That's like being in Hollywood. So wow, I see a lot of weird dots and I can't think too good anymore. You're in LA now. And so I'm one of those hyper assholes from the East Coast, Washington, D.C., born and bred. We think too much, talk too fast, drink too much coffee, and fuck you means fuck you, not let's do lunch. So I come from that to the West Coast, which is kind of like the big nowhere, as Elroy says. And so it's not the place you go for conversation. You meet women, and the first thing you want to know about a woman, what does she listen to, what does she like, what movies does she like, what is she reading? Harry Potter, goodbye. Goodbye. What do you think, Harry Potter? Not a fucking thing. It's a book for an 8-year-old. I like women. They're really sexy when they have braids. And they seem to steer clear of LA. And so there I am, just So that's, you know that story. It's a sad story, old and often told. But anyway, every once in a while you do meet someone who's fairly interesting. And I had this utterly absurdist, surreal conversation several weeks ago in LA that I'd like to detail for you. I was at the office at one point, and Mike, my road manager, was advancing a tour that we did on behalf of a group called the West Memphis 3, who you're very familiar with. And we came through Florida on that tour. 2 years ago we did a record called Rise Above, and some of you checked that out. And last year we did the tour for the record, and all the combined monies we gave to the West Memphis 3, the 3 young men down in West Memphis, Arkansas, who one is looking at a death sentence, the other 2 are looking at life. Yet there's no physical evidence ever brought to indict these guys. And so you find out there's lots of evidence to be tested for DNA. The state of Arkansas will not pay for it. So the money for the DNA testing is coming from donations from people like yourselves, people like me, people who are concerned, who are like, here's $20, you do it. And so we went out to kind of shepherd some money, and through our efforts and your patronage, we've raised so far between $110,000 and $130,000, which we've handed over to them, which is pretty cool. And that's because of you getting up off your ass and checking us out and letting us do our thing to you. So at one point we made a video for a song on the Rise Above record called Rise Above, which is about 58 seconds of Greg Ginn's sheer Godhead brilliance. And at the beginning of the song, Chuck D from Public Enemy does this amazing vocal, one of my huge heroes. And so we actually got Chuck to show up for the video, because he's a busy guy, but he's the man. And so we shot the video for about $3.50, which if you see how much anybody actually plays my videos, that's about as much as you want to spend on that endeavor. If you have to spend $5, over budget, and a stupid, futile waste of time. So luckily for us, everyone came in free. And so we're about to take off on this tour. And Mike is asked me, hey, where's the video? Show me the video. And I'm looking around the house, around the office rather, for the video. This tour was really amazing. We went through America. The most poignant stop in the American swing was when we were in Memphis, Tennessee, right near West Memphis, Arkansas. This gig was being protested by all the locals who see us as sympathizing with child killers. Now, if I killed you or you killed me, no one would care. 2 adults, they had a squabble, they shot each other. Husband shoots wife. This is like part and parcel of Americana. No one cares, it doesn't even make the newspapers. You kill a child, everyone in America knows the name of that kid and sees that beautiful little picture of the kid before he was killed, she was killed, and everyone goes, a kid! And if you can find the person who did it, people who are against the death penalty will say, you know what? I am against the death penalty, but this fucking guy, a ball-peen hammer, let's do it. You killed a kid? Okay, and that hatred is righteous, and all of you feel the same way. Now, if you're seen as sympathizing with a child killer, the hatred bestowed upon you is about 99% as mean. So we're seen as this band going across America trying to liberate child killers. Now, in states where people actually read and have teeth, we can actually dig where we're coming from, that we're only after money to raise so these guys can get some evidence tested so they can have a real day in court, which all Americans are allowed to have. Scumbag or innocent person, child molester, sleazoid is allowed a fair day in court. That's what America's all about. It's not Stalin, it's not Russia in 1940, it's America. That's how we do it. For better, for worse. There's some parts of the aspects of justice, like watching that asshole get any justice. It's how we're living here. So, it sucks sometimes, but that's how it is. And these three guys need a fair day in court. I say, you say. And so I'm doing interviews in this region where these people hate me so much because they think I'm down with child killing. So I'm doing these radio shows. This is 97.1, I'm the big dog, and I got that goddamn son, bitch, satanic motherfucker, Henry Rollins on the line. And we'll see what this dumb cracker motherfucker wants to say about killing kids. All right, you asshole, defend yourself! And this is really hard to do in your underwear on a tour bus at 6:30 in the morning on a cell phone. Like, hello? I mean, it sucked. And so by the time we get to Tennessee, we're told by the guy who owns the venue, he's saying, please don't come, please just keep driving, don't go. We've sold 10 tickets. All the local ticket venues have been threatened with vandalization or death, and they've all just thrown our tickets onto the sidewalk. No one wants to touch this thing. You are enjoying a 100% press blackout, and there's going to be a demonstration in front of my venue on the day of the show. Can you please not go? And we said, you know what, you fucking coward. You've had this gig for 6 weeks and now you turn into a pussy? No, it's finally time for you to stand the fuck up. We're not signing off on we're not walking away from the contract. Fuck you. So we come rolling into Memphis, Tennessee, not like da-da-da, we're like, fuck, are we gonna get shot? So if you're seen as a child killer, it's hard to reason with someone who thinks you are. You can't go, whoa, put the gun down, let's just talk about this, okay? And so meanwhile, the sun is going down on Memphis, and I'm being hounded by those very scary TV journalist people, big-haired, big-toothed women with the man with the camera on his shoulder with the microphone with a big plastic logo on it. So you're here defending child murders. Which is like, does your mother know you're gay? What kind of asshole are you? I mean, you're like, you're fucked. And so I'm dodging and parrying with these people as best I can. Then I'm told, okay, the demonstration in front of the venue has started. Yay, more negativity piled upon my life. Reach for the Rollins. And then I'm told, the mother of one of the deceased boys and her huge mulleted clan are coming around the building to meet you now. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this will be like, because I want nothing more than to be able to meet one of the parents of the deceased boys and say, hey, we're on your side. We want to see who really did this. And we feel for your loss, and we won't even try to imagine what it's like for a parent to lose a child in any way, but for your child to be butchered and left in a wooded area, drained of blood. And I've been through all the autopsy shots and the crime scene shots. A more unimaginable hell you cannot fathom. I mean, that someone would do this to 3 children. You look at the photos and your eyes just go, I'm not seeing that. You're like, that's not real. No one would do that. They did it. It's really hard. It was 300 photos, very hard for me to get through, but fuck it, I had to do it, and I did it. It haunts me to this day, nonetheless. So here comes the mom with these huge people. They must live at Walmart. They just eat them big portions, and it's massive. And they're boom. And I immediately recognized Pamela Hobbs from documentaries and photographs, and I go right over to her. Meanwhile, the news camera's waiting for the fight, and I go, Miss Hobbs, hey, before you say anything, it's an honor to meet you, and I kind of pled our case, saying, we're not trying to upset you. We can't even imagine what you've been through. We're just trying to get some money so this evidence can be tested, so we can know. And she blew my mind. She said, I'm glad you're doing this. I'm like, what? She goes, I've had my doubts as to their guilt, and I think you're doing a good thing, and right on. I was not ready for that. I was ready to have to kind of diffuse the situation. Poor cameraman. He's really hoping for the fucking 7 o'clock news, bango, teaser headline, and he's not gonna get it. And the guy's like, ow, ow, camera hurts, camera hurts. He has to put it down, he's walking around, ow, ow, ow. And every time I walk near Pamela Hobbs, he picks it up again, so okay. And eventually, I hugged her, and she hugged me, and I know the camera guy's, okay, go to the body, go upstairs. But it didn't happen, and then it got even more twisted. She has all these kids and relatives, and they all wanted my autograph. I love you, the chase. I'm like, oh. Can I see that tattoo on your back? Sure. It was just, it was very twisted, and so they went away. Camera guy was really disappointed, and thankfully a lot of brave people showed up, bought their tickets at the door, and the show was a runaway success, and we rocked the house, and everyone went yay, and bought a t-shirt and went home. And so the tour goes bravely through America and jumps off the California coast and goes to Europe, and we land in fucking Serbia, which is a part of the world who's known a lot of terror, death, genocide, hunger, terror. Then there's the genocide and did I get to the death part? Yeah, but anyway, they've had some really, to put it mildly and kind of be backhanded about, they've had some pretty sad days over there. Now, us Americans, we enjoy freedom. We don't know anything but. So when I say it's party night, you're like, every night's party night. This is America. We're always jamming around here. You say 3-day outdoor festival to Serbians, they go like, are you kidding? We can just go get wild and hold glow sticks and dick around and listen to shitty music made by assholes who play turntables and call themselves musicians? Yeah! Where I say that to you, and they're like, what? There's 80 doors down the street. I can go in and have that every night of the week. For these people, they don't get a great deal of that. And so there's this huge festival, and so we go out there and play. And we're a very unsubtle unit. It's not like, the violent intro, and like, how are you people tonight? We just walk out there like, BAM! And that's how we do it. And it's like a bunch of angry dogs getting let out after 8 days of not being fed. And so we're like, ah! And for like 4 seconds, the audience is like, ah! Ah! Cool! And they went nuts! Like so nuts, and I'm the last guy to tell you to calm down, but I was like, I almost said the C word. I almost went like, no, don't. I'm just happy that they even show up past 15 pay tonight at this point. And so like, wah! We're like, cool, right? Yeah, good. And so the tour goes through Europe and it goes to Australia, always a great time there. And then via Bangkok, Thailand, it lands for the last show in Tokyo, Japan. And I don't know if you've ever been to Japan, but if you haven't been, you should try and go. Beautiful country, wonderful people, fascinating culture, and great food, and the best record stores. And I don't know how many times I've been there, 5, 6 times. And there is something very interesting about Japanese audiences. They're very different than they are here. And so we're getting ready to do the last show, big place about this size, fairly nice sized place. And we're sitting in the dressing room not 10 paces from the stage. And you hear nothing. There's nothing going on out there. And I'm thinking, we bombed. Last show of the tour, culmination of 2 years' work, and we're stiffing in Tokyo, where we usually do really well. And I asked Brian, our stage guy, I go, Brian, we're tanking. He was like, no, the place is packed. I'm like, oh, that's right, it's Tokyo. The most silent, polite pre-show crowd. You can hear hair growing. Listen, the cricket, it's all the way in the back. And it just sounds like there's no one in there. Your feet shuffling on the ground. But they're all out there. It says Tokyo. The first time we played in Japan in 1992, they wouldn't come near the stage. We freaked them the fuck out. Because we come out like, ah! And they're like, no! And like 2 songs in, they're not going to come near us. And so I said, okay, stop. And we all came out to the edge of the stage like the Scorpions at the end of the show. Thank you for rock and roll with us tonight! And I just walked out, and we all just went like, and they're like, it's like when Jane Goodall first touched the shoulder of the silverback alpha male. They're like, you see penguins, they're all like, we're on the ice floe. I wonder if there's any fucking sharks or killer whales down there. I know what we'll do to find out. We'll kick you in and see what happens. They always shove one in, he's like, hey, fuck you! And he's like, whoa! Orca takes him away, they're like, fuck this, we'll go swimming another day. And so someone like shoved the boy. Hey, yeah, you think you're funny? You see what happens? And he's like, oh! And I shook his hand. I said, see, we want to be here. We like you guys. And they're like, oh, they're friendly. Come on! And we came up front and we fucking rocked out. It's the best time. And so they can be a little reserved. You start tuning between songs. They all hush up. Right. What are you being quiet so he can tune? He's got a tuner thing on the ground. He can't even tune an instrument. The machine's helping him. What the fucking noise. Here's your golden opportunity to tell us we suck. Come on. And so they're very silent, and it's cool. So we're getting ready to go on, and you hear a single voice booming over this huge place that otherwise sounds uninhabited. You hear, "Where the fuck is Henry?" No, I flew for hours in disguise. We burrowed a hole from the hotel to the venue so Whitey wouldn't know we were at the gig. And you go all the way to Tokyo and Whitey still finds you. It's like, no. And if I had $1 for every one of those shows, like you do a tour with a band like the Chili Peppers who sell out. If the place is big as Iowa, they sell it out. It just, as long as there's a ticket, it gets sold. And so we're playing these places, 11,000 people, 12,000 people, sold out in 40 seconds. So you go out, it's like in Germany, the first 300 people are all guys from the local Army, Air Force, Marine bases. And I got no problems with the armed forces at all. They're protecting me. But you come out and they immediately like, Henry! I'm an American! No shit. These people, the other 11,500 Germans, these people don't know shit! Achtung, Heinrich, okay, just so you know, we know lots of shit, okay? The man who says we don't know shit has 1,100 English words in his random access memory. English is my second language. I know 150,000 words in English. So we know much shit, okay? Play, go, And so it's always like, wow, I want to be from Toronto right now. Because it's just insulting. And so anyway, I know how this is going to be. I go, Brian, go out there and get a head count. He comes back, 3, drunk. I'm like, no. Can you get him to leave? No. I'm like, okay, so we go out there. And if you're like, yay, except for like, whoa, fucking Henry! Hey, these people don't know shit! Like, yes, they do. And so we start playing, and a few songs in, there's that phenomenon that always happens. The gig is full of emo boy and alternate youth. Some of you are like that. We dunk you in water, and then you weigh 75 pounds. Bright eyes on your shirt, Sonic Youth. The shirt comes down to here. I'm not ripping you all. I'm just saying, you see these guys, they're not going to hurt anybody. They're just into the music, and they go to every gig, and you love them because they show up. But they always seem to get up and do the crowd surfing thing. And it feels like a glad bag of shredded paper when they drop on your head. You're like, oh, it becomes like that beach ball at those radio shows outside. Like, here comes Alternative Boy. The boy wafts back to the soundboard, and the sound guy kind of goes, and so emo boy is kind of wafting to the front and like falling like a feather. People are like, oh, whatever. And so he lands on the head of one of the tough guys. They all look up and go, wow, human pinata time. And the guy, it's like getting beaten up by Roy Jones Jr. I mean, everything is breaking. He's like, ah! And we're doing a 30-song set. We are like a steamroller of dissonant sound. And the songs are coming too quickly for me to be gig cop. And everything in me wants to go, whoa, what are you hitting the guy for, man? He's like 80 pounds. What the fuck? Because these guys are like 180 pounds each. And that would really hurt, especially if you don't have your guard up. And so they're like, they're like, oh, we're so funny. And they pass the kid over, like, and the kid bleeds out on the floor, like, one drop. So it gets up. And like, security don't know what to do with these 3 boneheads. They kind of escort the emo boy out. And he's like, bye. I'm like, see you later, emo boy. So the gig goes on, and they're some more. It's like an emo boy slugfest, and finally one emo boy comes over and he lands on the head of one of the tough guys. Tough guy grabs the kid's foot and twists it really hard, like around and you know how much that hurts. Because some of you had an older brother, older sister, you get in the argument. I hate you. Oh yeah, you hate me? Grabs the foot. You hate me now? No! No! I like you now! That logic I never really understood that, but that always works. You still think I suck? No, you're the man. Ow! And so we're twisting this kid's foot, and I'm watching going, oh man, that must hurt. And the kid's face is this map of human pain. He's like, ah. And I'm like, ah. And the kid's shoe comes off, and the kid gets passed over, and gets up, and he's like one shoe limping, like, ow. And the guys are, oh, funny, they're holding the shoe up like a trophy. And the next thing that happened, I laughed at, but I shouldn't have. There's some shit you shouldn't laugh at, but fuck it, it's funny. You got water around here, you might, this might be a thing that you shouldn't laugh at, but you find yourself kind of going, Anyway, think Hawaii a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, little old Beth Hamilton, the surfer girl, she's surfing, left arm gone, and bravely she comes back to competition a mere 10 weeks later, and you imagine her trying to get out to the first wave, but she can't get past the beach break because of that clockwise circle she keeps paddling with one arm. Like, daddy, help! It's so shitty to make a joke like that, but you laugh, so you're as fucked as I am. Daddy, help! Sorry, you should laugh at that, but what are you gonna do? Not laugh? And so the next thing that happened to emo boy, I laughed at, but I shouldn't have, but I did, and I'm not gonna hide it from you. So tough guy takes the shoe, throws it at this kid. He's like, ow. The shoe hits this kid so perfectly right in the back of his head. He really did a front flip. It's like one of the and I'm singing a song, I hate my don't laugh. And the guy's like, ow! It came out of his mouth. He turns around like, what was the offending item? Oh, my shoe. I got my shoe back, but like, ow. And the three guys were like, I said, that's it. I've had enough of you motherfuckers. So I'm singing. I walk back to the drum riser, grab the bottle of water, tighten the cap really hard, move the mic to my right hand because I'm left-handed, like Nixon and Clinton, and all kinds of other bastards. And I must warn you, I don't want to piss off any of the women here, believe me, but I throw like a girl, like a spastic 6-year-old girl. But what I lack in grace or aim, I make up for just with sheer force. I cap the water tightly. I'm going to throw it this way, very hard. Chances are it's going to hit somebody because there's nothing but people there. If it hits the wrong person, I am really sorry. But I meant well. You're young. That dish in your cranium, it'll go out. You take it to a body shop, they'll pull it. So I'm drawing a bead on the guy who did the foot twisting, and I'm like, you guys, you dig football, right? Football's cool. I've watched football like 4 times. Like in football, there's a halfback. I have no idea what the fuck a halfback does. I'm one of those guys. I read poetry and dreamed of getting laid during those days. And I could read. I never got the chick. But I sure read some good books. So I'm not a jock. So I'm like, and these guys are so busy congratulating each other, they don't see me. And I'm like, and I can throw really fucking hard, especially downward. And so this bottle looks like it's some kind of NASA piece of space junk re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. It's like, and the guy's in mid, bam, right behind his ear, drops him like a bad habit. He disappears.
here on Asshole Recon. And we're all gone. And then finally, they all stand up with one guy. And they're all looking around like, who done it? Who done it? Who done it? And no one in the crowd even saw who did it. It was just real quick. And I just said to myself, I could do any one-liner here will work. Like, what do you think? Pretty good, huh? But I decided not to say anything. It was just going to be my little moment. And they'll always have to wonder, unless they show up to one of these gigs. And they'll know the mystery was revealed. And so we get to the end of the show, and the guy's like, ow, 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 ow. I got him good. I hit him so hard the bottle broke. It's like really brittle plastic, so it splintered, went everywhere. It was I wish it was on film. Beautiful show. So we come up for the encore. They're still there. Now the crowd is shrinking back because they're just getting tired of getting pummeled by these tough guys. And so I got a consensus from the audience, which is sometimes not a good thing to do. So if you don't get the response you want, you look like a jerk. So I said, is there anybody in this building who would like to see these three guys leave? Holy shit, man. I was like, whoa, I didn't think you had it in you like that. Because everyone was just like, had it with these guys. And it's not like popular opinion sways anybody. You know, and I said, see you guys, you should get out of here, listen to what everyone else does. And I expect them to go, yeah, all right, we're number one. Because they can kill anyone in the whole building. And it was so amazing what happened. They all just kind of like, and they actually sculpt out. Like, and that's the word, that's the verb. They sculpt, they're like. And they just kind of went, and went away, and everyone is like, you know, the victory of the mice. Whee! And everyone came up front, and then the gig really cut loose, and we had big fun. And so the show's over, thanks for having us, good night. And we go back to the dressing room, and I'm running around the room like, did you guys see my shot? And I was like, what shot? I go to our sound man, Daryl, did you check me out? The shot? And he's like, what? I'm like, no witnesses, no one's gonna believe me. It's the tree that fell in the forest. Didn't fall, didn't hear it. And Brian, sound guy, comes walking, winding cable, he's already on to the next 9 jobs. He just like walks by, nice shot, that must have hurt. I'm like, yes! Oh, wait, I did it! So, then we came home, and the culmination of 2 years' work was done. But anyway, I'm sorry. Mike said, do you want to see the video? I said, I'll find the video. So I'm looking around the office for the video. I can't find the video. So just remember the conversation. I'll get to it. So anyway, I said, I know, it's at the house. I'll be right back. And so I get in my car, and I go from the office to my house, walk in, and look out the back door, you know, glass doors to the back patio, to see a man with surgeon's gloves on and some kind of tool operating on my windowsill. I did not know what to do. For like 2 seconds, I was like, whoa. It's like broad daylight. And he's like working away, doesn't see me. And it's kind of strange to see a man you don't know, but in Southern California, there's so much kind of obsequious help. Maybe he's my window guy. Do I have a window guy? Hey, do I have a window person? I have a bunch of them? Oh. I own it? That's cool. I don't know. And maybe Tom Ridge sent him over. Trying to see if there's presence of Al-Qaeda between the sill and the glass. No, A-okay. That's not anthrax, it's just dirt. Who knows? So I call him, whoa. And what do? Do I go backwards? Do I go for the phone? At that moment, he looks up and sees me. And that's when the most surreal conversation I've ever had in Hollywood, California, commences. He puts his implement down, and he goes, hey, hi! Oh, and he called me, I was like, hi. And then, like an idiot, I go, can I help you? Why did I do that? I'm just a Boy Scout at heart. I said, may I help you? And he went, your neighbor let me in. My neighbor is a woman who died several weeks before, 96, 97 years of age, so there's nobody over there. So I have to explain to him, I'm yelling through this glass door. There's no neighbor over there. She died. Her granddaughter told me she still had her prison ID number on her arm. He's like, right, your front door buzzer. I went, Yeah, what about it? What are you doing? Your neighbor. I go, no, remember I told you the neighbor's dead. There's nobody in that house. I'm still kind of going, what the fuck? He goes, right, of course. But you have a front door buzzer. I go, yeah. He goes, right. So then I figure I better reach out and help him because he might be confused. Because there's a lot of confusion in life. So I said, you're a burglar. You're breaking into my house. The look on his face was priceless. No! I was like, oh God, did I offend him? He said, no, I wouldn't do that. And this is like the second minute of the conversation, and my eyes are glued on his hands in case he goes for a weapon or something. Meanwhile, I've memorized all his features and characters, like 5'7", dark skin, no hair, white shirt, brown pants, brown shoes, watch with like wine-skinned brown band. I mean, I'm this far from him. And I said, you're a burglar. He goes, no, I'm not. Then what are you doing? He goes, he's just looking at his watch. I'm really busy. You're in my way. And I feel like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I go, you're a burglar. He goes, no, I'm not. I go, then what are you doing? He goes, I go, what are you doing? 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 He goes, you're there. Forget the neighbor. You're a burglar. You're trying to break into my house. No! Then let's see some ID. I go, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? You pull out your ID, I pull out my ID, and the cop who I'll call now, he'll pull out his ID, and we can have an ID party. And he goes, no! And then he said the most incredible thing. He was like, let me come in. Let's talk about this. This is like minute 3. Like, now this is fun. I'm like, let you in? And he went, yeah, I don't have a gun. Be a man. As if to not let the guy in is some weird blow to my masculinity. So the guy asked you to let him in, and you didn't let him in? No. What are you, pussy now? Van Damme would have let him in. I was like, let you in? Yeah, be a man. Like I was supposed to go, all right then, bitch. Yeah, right. And I go, what are you doing really? He goes, I work for the cable company. I mean, he's just pulling this stuff out. Oh, really? Which one? And he goes, Smith and Brown and Bernie's cable company. I don't know anyone named Smith, Brown, and Brownie's the cable company. And then he went, yeah. Do you want me to leave the same way I came in? And there's like this weird non sequitur, and it took me a couple of beats. I was like, God, what am I in for if I say yes? I was son! What's gonna happen? I went, sure, go for it. And he went, fine then! Like I'm offended. He's like, right! And he runs like a motherfucker. I grabbed my phone, hit 911 as I'm flying through the house to watch him like just grandstanding down the road, going for Olympic gold. He's like a gazelle. He's gone. Call the cops, describe the guy to a T, give them my address, and then I call Mike. I go, Mike, check it out. Go outside the office right now and see if you see a guy, dark skin, no hair, white shirt, brown pants, brown shoes, running like a motherfucker. And he goes, yeah, I see a guy with no hair, white shirt, brown pants, running like a motherfucker. That fucking guy tried to break into my house. I'm on it. There goes our Mike, running after the guy. So I get back on the horn and call the cops back. Like, ooh, hello, I'm the guy. Told you about the guy trying to break into my house, a white shirt, brown pants. Okay, there's a guy following that guy. Kid, big fella, dark hair, black shirt, black pants, answers to Mike. Don't shoot him, shoot the other guy. And here's his cell phone number. Give him a call. They call Mike. Mike's running. Okay, suspect in sight. Going west on Hollywood Boulevard. And off Mike's coordinates, they send in the chopper, which flies right over my house. I'm like, holy shit, man, you put a quarter in the machine and it really goes. And so the guy hides in an apartment complex and loses Mike. And 5 minutes later, 3 cop cars, 6 cops, and Mike, who they scooped up and gave a ride over to my house. They all kind of descend upon my living room, and having 6 large armor-plated cops in my living room is, wow, I must have jacked off too much and went to hell. Okay, so the suspect looked like this. By the way, I'm a huge fan. But anyway, okay, so he tried to break into this window. We'll need this for evidence. Big stormtrooper guys, and they were cool enough, and they eventually left the premises. They stepped away from my house. And they never caught the guy, but the conversation was poignant. And I thought you might like to check it out. Okay, here's this other thing that happened. Oh, thanks. Anyway, this is a love story. Thanks. Here's a love story starring your favorite hometown boy, me. And it's hard to imagine an angry loner type like me being in love. The word sounds funny in my mouth. You know, like, really? What are you soft now? Ooh, now you'll be wearing like corduroy pants and be into Jackson Brown. No, but every once in a while, you know, you try and meet the woman so you can, well, kind of live out all those Journey and Toto songs. And some of you may go, no, not me, but you're just in denial because you're not in touch with your thing. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you about this love story. It starts, and some of you heard part of the story. It started in 1997 in Sweden. I was at a festival with my bandmates, and the bill that day was Sheryl Crow, and then us, which is just, what evil laboratory technician came up with that? And so I'm thinking, we're gonna go out there and totally annihilate this place. We're on some freaking fjord in the middle of nowhere, and Cheryl's gonna go out there, every day is a burning town, and everyone's gonna go, fuck you, and we're gonna go out there and everyone's gonna go, yay, the rock is here. And so I'm warming up, getting ready for the show. Cheryl hasn't gone on yet, and I don't know this person, so, and I don't hate her. I'm just thinking, yeah, whatever, pop music, let's kill it. And so I'm sitting on the ground, getting warmed up, and all of a sudden, a pair of female hands just rubbing my right thigh, and I don't get a whole lot of action. This is pretty freaking cool. As you do. And I look over to see who this leg rubber is. It's Sheryl Crow. It's how we met. I'm like, hello, Cheryl. She's like, hi, Rollins. How does this feel? I'm like, pretty fucking good, actually. They can never end. And I was like, what are you doing, woman? And I look up to see some photographer taking 1 million photos. And I'm like, you're just using me in a photo op. She laughs and gets up, slaps my leg. That's right, Rollins. And it was some big English glossy magazine on tour with Cheryl. Like, how about just as a laugh, go over to Henry Rollins and rub his leg and we'll get 1 million photos. He's such a mad titter. So I'm like, I've been used again by another woman. So, she goes out there, but I thought it was funny. But she goes out there to play. Everybody at the festival is in front of her. Her band plays very well. She sings, like on the records, the band all sings, they sing on key. Everybody in the crowd knew every word to every song. They're with her every step of the way. After an hour, 80 songs you're familiar with, she walks off stage, and you're kind of like, whoa, okay, but we're still gonna kill. So we go out there like, aha! There's about, half the crowd in front of us that was there for her, but they'll come. The rock will draw them. Didn't happen that way. 2 songs go by, there's about 10% of that audience left. 2 more songs go by, there's about 100 people. 2 more songs after that, there's just 2 young men spitting. So from like 100 yards away, like, you can't even hear it. They're like, I hate the man, fuck you. And there's our sound man, like, so we walk off stage just like thoroughly demoralized, like we skulked off that motherfucker. Who's right behind the drum riser watching the whole thing? Cheryl. Nice show. I'm like, F9, battleship sunk. And there's like 1 zip. You can't come back from that because she rocked the house and no one cared about us at all. That's when I fell in love with her. Right then, I went, that's the girl for me. Now, you all realize that sometimes, you know the song, Hold the Line. Love isn't always on time. And sometimes you have to be strong and look for Journey and Toto and Boston, Kansas to guide you. These are songs and artists that you dismiss, but really there's a lot of really incredible wisdom and heartfelt poetry in those songs. And if you'll be man or woman enough to listen, the bounty and the wealth of information and wisdom in those songs will be yours to have. At 1999 in Tower Records right now. So I realized that it's going to take a while for Cheryl to realize a guy like me exists. So before we get together again, I just got to hang in there. And a couple of years go by, actually a bunch of years go by, and then I find out she's shacking up with that old monkey Eric Clapton. Like, he can play a little guitar, okay. Cream was pretty good. Derek and the Dominoes, Layla, it's a pretty good song. But he's an old chimpanzee from like 1850, and his tongue smells like turpentine, and she and I should be hitting it on my cum-stained futon, and not in his swoon at the Four Seasons, I think. And so I realized I just gotta stay strong. And so years go by, and I'm in a studio in Hollywood mixing a record that, of course, no one hears. And she's down the hall recording an album in a different room in the studio that 80 million people buy. And at one afternoon, she walks in to say hi. She goes walking with her dog. And I'm like, hey, Cheryl, how you doing? She's like, hey, Rollins, how's your record? And I'm trying to be funny. I'm like, hey, our record is amazing. Are you still making those kind of anonymous session chick vocal records that people buy for some strange reason? She goes, yeah, sure, you still making those records that 80 people buy? I'm like, down goes the submarine, gone. And you're like, 2-zip. You're like, because you can't argue with success. You can, but you lose. And I'm like, Now, she has me where she wants me, and I realize she's just sizing me up. She's in love with me, this woman. And so we kind of banter back and forth. Hey, you suck. Fuck you. See you later, okay. And she leaves. And I look at Chris, the young second engineer. I go, did you see that? And he goes, what, the slaughter of your fragile male ego? I go, no. That was courtship. He went, courtship my ass. That was slaughter. No. That was flirting. She's hot for me. She was starting the dance. They went, no. She was dissing you into the middle of next week, and really well. That was great. I go, you don't know because you've never been out there. He goes, I've been out there a fair bit, and you just got dissed like a motherfucker. Let's just finish mixing your piece of shit record. So, years go on, she's no longer with Eric Clapton, she's kind of fooling around with Kid Rock. I got nothing against the kid, I'm just saying, yeah, she's with another guy. I'm just doing my normal thing, 9 p.m. every night. What can I say? Truth sucks, but there it is. And then I find out she's now shacking up with Lance Armstrong and swinging from his ball. Because how can I compete with this guy? He's an Iron Man. He can bite for 92 straight days. He survived cancer. He puts his ball on the right side of the saddle for good luck. And I can't compete with that. Because I don't have it. And so I realized that I must be strong, because love is gonna find me, and I just have to hang in there and wait, because she's gonna get done with this guy, and she's gonna wake up one morning and just like, oh my God, all this time, what have I been doing? It should have been Henry. I gotta get right over to that cum-stained futon now. We have gotta hit this. So I'm waiting for the call. Days go by. Actually, a long fucking time goes by until a few weeks ago, I get a phone call from the woman who gets me film work every great once in a while. I call her Agent Woman. She calls me 15% of your action boy. We kind of feed off each other. We're not friends, we're business associates. This is as close as you get in Hollywood. So she calls me and she goes, what are you doing tomorrow night? I went, well, she goes, wait, let me see. You come home from your office that you live 5 seconds from, and you lift some weights, then you stand over your stove and eat out of the pot that you cooked the soup in. Then you strip down to your underwear, dick around on eBay for a while, jack off while crying, and then pass out from the force of the ejaculation and wake up on the floor with a minor concussion, sleep for 45 minutes, grind your teeth, and have psychotic dreams about your mother being married to Michael Caine. And then you go back into the office at like 4:20 in the morning and think that you're working when you're just showing that you have really no life as an adult middle-aged male. Like, fuck, women know everything. You guys, don't bullshit them. You can't do it. You're only thinking you can. They only let you think you can, but you can't. And so she goes, I know what you're doing. I don't want to know. I want you to go out with me tomorrow night. I'm like, what are we going to do? She goes, you're going to go to a movie premiere with me. I'm like, oh, no, I can't. She goes, why not? I go, there'll be people there. They'll look. I'm a weirdo. I live alone. No one knows me. I'm misanthropic. I'm like someone out of a Conrad novel. I'm Walter E. Kurtz, and my house is the end of the known river. In Japan, you're just an errand person sent by no one. So I said, no, I can't. I'm like Carrie, the night of the prom. They'll all laugh at you. I can't go. They'll look and they'll go, ooh, he's short, he's gray. Ooh, let's poke him. And she goes, oh, come on, loosen up. I'll make sure no one hurts you. And I said, okay, what are we going to go see? And she goes, we'll go see School of Rock, the premiere. And I'm a huge fan of Jack Black, so I said, free? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. And so I pick her up at her big building, and we drive over to this theater and park the car. And there's two ways to go into the theater. There's the red carpet, or there's just walking into the theater. So we're standing there with two options. She goes, okay, what do you want to do, red carpet or just walk in? I go, I'll just walk in. I don't want to go on a red carpet, come on. And so we walk in, and as soon as I walk into this situation, all fear subsides, and my objective becomes brutally clear. Get as much free shit as possible, immediately. I go right to the free popcorn. I managed to put down a 1-quart container of popcorn in about 7 seconds with no liquid. I don't even taste it. My intestines will taste it. I'm like, it's free. I gotta get it in me. So I gotta get 3 of these down before the film starts. So I'm like, oh my God, is he from one of those shows? I'm like, And I go from there and I grab every napkin I can, every straw, every spork, and other utensil, roll to the bathroom. So I'm loaded with paper goods and, fuck it, there's a war on. So I'm getting free stuff, and so I'm, out to here on popcorn. I've got like 3 more for the movie, and I got paper goods for the next 9 months, and everything's fine. And so I look out the window of the theater to watch the wacky shenanigans on the red carpet, which is nothing but just like, strobing, lights of flashbulbs, and in comes the Osborne clan, led by Sharon. Proud matriarch, I'm taking over Warsaw this afternoon. And so she comes in, and behind her is Jack, looking for a vein. I can't think I can offend anyone in this building. Smell this place. I can't offend you people. And behind Jack is the daughter. She's looking for a record deal. And, yeah, devastating when you're right. And behind her is Ozzy. So this guy go in, the cameras are on, the lights are strobing and flashing, and we're ushered to our seats, and we just sit down and shut up and watch this very cool movie. And the movie's over, and Asian woman goes, okay, let's go to the after party, eat free food. I'm like, free food? Yes. On the rear 2 wheels. And we get there and we go right for the sushi bar. There's at least 6 figures expended upon the after party for this show. I mean, they really went, to the nines to promote this film. 1 room of this after party is Mexican food. 1 room is nothing but coffee and dessert. And another room is nothing but sushi. And in California, at a party like this, you cannot be seen to have an appetite. Oh, I don't eat. Eating is for people with flesh and muscle on their bones. Everyone else is like starving like some kind of Biafran, I have to fit into this dress I borrowed from my 11-year-old daughter. Look at me, I look so thin. You look like you're in pain. I haven't eaten in 9 years. I survived on cigarette smoke and estrogen I get from my vaginal wall. I can come out hundreds at a time. I'm gonna live alone for the rest of my life, folks. But anyway, so we go right for the sushi bar, and thankfully for me, Agent Woman has no reservation about stuffing her face like an evil, greedy pig like me. And so we just go up to the guy. I already have my mouth in the shape of eel. I'm like, how much eel do you have? And I don't know, 4 or 5 yards. Oh! All of it? I go, no one else is going to eat it. I'm like, okay. I'm just drinking soy sauce, wasabi. I'll taste it down here, I'll shake it up and down, I'll mix it here. And so now we're on the floor and the guy's like kind of stuffing it into our mouths. I'm taking everything, it's like taking his mouths of sushi, smashing into balls of rice and seaweed wrapping paper, smashing into my pockets, into the crack of my ass. And I said, well, I'll eat it later, it's free. I'm a hungry boy, still growing. And so we're like, oh, and our guts look like some leopard after it's eaten an antelope. We're just distended, we're like, now we're all sleepy and So I stagger into this hallway with my obscene Orson Welles gut. And I'm leaning up against a wall, sleeping it off. And this man comes up to me and goes, hey, I'm from Washington, D.C., like you. I went, yeah, because people say that every once in a while. You go, yeah, what part of D.C.? They go, Roslyn. I go, that's Virginia, bitch. You're not from the fucking Diamond. And they're like, whatever. And so I said, what part? And he goes, Northwest. I go, really? What neighborhood? And that part of D.C. is not like, what's your hood? That part is all like squirrels, trees, and a bunch of kids late for school. Got to school, Dobby. Okay, Mom. That's Northwest where I lived. But, that was my hood, really. Actually, it was my neighborhood. And I said, really, what neighborhood? And he is from your neighborhood. I went, oh yeah, really? And he named everybody I knew from that neighborhood. I'm like, whoa! How come I don't know you? He goes, I went to this school, you went to that school, I lived over there, I played at that playground, you went over there, but he says, I used to see you. I go, and what are you doing out here? He goes, I'm trying to get in the entertainment business. Oh, you're trying to be a scumbag. He's like, yeah, trying. I said, great. And so now I have this new amigo, and we're hanging out, and right at that moment, that's when I knew that all those Kansas songs were right. You hang on long enough. If you hold the line, if you can do it, love will find you. Love will find a way. In comes Sheryl Crow with her imposter boyfriend, Kid Rock. Now, it's been a few years since we've seen each other. 4. But, it's built up. As you guys know, it's horrible. And so, meanwhile, I've been stockpiling a pile of one-liners. If I ever saw her again, I would say this, or this. Stuff you think about when you're jet lagging on long airplane rides. And the best one, I'm like, it comes right up to the top of the hard drive. And I say to my newfound friend, I go, watch this. I'm a really funny guy. And that's my girlfriend. She's hobnobbing with fucking Kid Rock right now. But I'm gonna watch. She's gonna be putty in my hands. And so I'm about to leap out, cut off the angle so Kid Rock cannot pass. So I'll be right in the eyes of my devoted one. And my one-liner was gonna be, Cheryl, remember me? Henry, check it out. The other night, I was trying to break into one of the windows of your house, and some guy who calls himself your head of security came up to me, grabbed me by the scruff of my neck, and threw me to the ground pretty hard, okay? Picked me up, twisted my arm behind my back, threw me off your property and said, if you ever show up here again, I'll call the police, get the fuck out of here. What's up with that? I just want to break in, put your clothes on, and get in bed, and wait for you while you're coming back from Leno. Come on. And I thought she'd go like, take me. I thought that's how it was going to go. So, I figured I can, Kid Rock is like 6'9", I'm 4'11", he won't even see me. It's like a special forces up. I'm in, I'm out, you don't even know. It's just like, and she's mine. He'll just be like, where'd she go? Fuck it, man. He'll go on. And like Cheryl will be mine. And futon. bam. And so I'm about to step out and hit her with my one-liner, and she looks at me, right through me, and walks right by. I couldn't even get a word. I was like, and so is there a strike 4? Because that was strike 3. I mean, I was just like shut down. And they just walked right by me like I didn't even exist. And she looked right through me. And her look was like, yeah, I see you, and you don't exist. I was like, and I kind of went back to the wall, and the guy looked at me and went, wow, you just got blanked like a motherfucker. I've never heard that term before. I went, how apt. And so I found Agent One. I said, let's go. What's the matter? Let's go. Okay, so I waddle out of there with my food and my paper goods. And I dropped her off at her car, and I went home, and you know the same story. But with a lot of passion at that point, because I realized that it's probably over with Cheryl and I. Now I'm gonna have to wait a really, really, really long time. And so a couple of weeks go by, and I'm waiting to leave on this tour, and I'm mending my broken heart, and got my Toto on, and I'm getting better, And so I get a call from a guy who I like very much. His name is Adam Rifkin. Directed me in that movie, The Chase. Funny guy. He writes for DreamWorks. He gets the big bucks. He wrote Mouse Hunt, Small Soldier, stuff like that. He's like a 7-digit motherfucker. He's also like hanging out with Groucho Marx. He's just a funny, smart guy. So he calls me up. Hey, Henry, it's Adam. Hey, Adam, what's going on? I just got these 2 free tickets to go see Kill Bill premiere. Let's go. Tomorrow. I'll come to your house. Can we go in your car? I go, are you still driving that 1908 Hyundai Puta? Yeah, the one that you put masking tape on the hood to keep it from flipping up? Yeah. Don't you make a lot of money at DreamWorks? Can't you afford a car? Yeah, I'm getting around to buying one. I don't want to be staying in this car in public or anything, so I'll see you tomorrow. And so Adam comes over, and we get in my car, and we drive down to the Mann's Chinese Theater, very famous, a lot of handprints and boot prints in the dirt there. Parked the car, and we made a big mistake. We dressed up like we normally dress up, fucked up jeans, still some made in America, t-shirts with, salsa eaten through like moths, Snickers bars still stuck to it, a week and a half of beard growth, hair kind of a angry gray unkempt nest. I look like the Unabomber. I kind of live in my clothes when I'm working. I just kind of do the work and don't think about much else, and I kind of, and both Adam and I kind of look like that. We walk up to the front, and the security guard's like, whoa, 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 no panhandling in front of this. And we look out the tickets, and they're like, okay, and we zigged and we should have zagged, and we ended up on the red carpet. And once you're on, that's it. Then all of a sudden, magically, they know my name. Henry, 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 oh my God, Henry, Henry! If it was bullets, it would be like the last scene of Scarface. And so I'm like, and they're like, Henry, over here, over here. And you're like, Adam is a writer. He lives like underneath one lamp at night, typing things. He lives alone. He lives in his own filth. He's not a guy who takes photos. He's one of the behind-the-scenes guys. Henry, I want to show. And you see the camera. It's this game. And so I get nervous, and when I get nervous, I do really stupid jackpot stuff. And I go, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam Rifkin, the man who brought you The Chase, Small Soldiers and Mouse Hunt. And they're like, Adam! He's like, what do you want from me? Bad skin, I really funny, I got hives. No, leave me alone. I got a cold, I got a pneumonia, something like that. And he's just trying to get away. No, I give drugs to preachers to shake down pensioners for quarters. No. And we both start kind of going like, da-da-da, we really shouldn't be here, da-da-da-da. And when you start goofing around and talking in front of like cameras that are going off that fast, every photo looks like you're either high or mentally challenged. So every photo of us are just like, we suck. And so we bank left, and we've run that gauntlet. Now it's time for those huge-haired, big white teeth ladies with the logo on the mic. entertainment types. Henry, why are you here to see Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill? Fucking free food, man. Henry, I'm like, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Henry, why are you here to see Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill? Free food. This guy Adam, he got some free tickets. We're gonna eat free food like a motherfucking cunt. Just keep the fucking TV shit. So we skulk in, grab the popcorn, and we slouch against the pillar and watch Victoria's Secret type chicks walk in with their like 80-year-old male playmates, and it's like a model Amazon woman walking in with Lancelot Link. Like these ancient men who have a face like liver spot, sunspot. It's like a fucking catcher's mitt for a face. I love you, let me grab your vulva. Like, oh God, everyone should have a gibbon of their own. And like, give me some. And then I was like, look, he's putting his tongue in her mouth. I think I'm gonna throw up. It was just brutal. So the lights flash and it's time to go sit down. So we sit down, we're right near the front. And that's when I knew that destiny's real, Fate is a real motherfucker. I didn't believe it till that night. I just figured, you step on a bug, you kill it. You die. Heaven, hell, fuck that. It's here. It's all here right now. Get into it. Deal with it. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, let's see the movie. And then I look to see the beautiful, much worked on hair of the woman in front of me. Wow, it's holy shit. I have to cover my bets. I have to hedge my bets a little. Sitting one seat ahead of me, one row ahead of me, one seat over. Adam, watch me get blanked by Sheryl Crow. She was right there. And watch this. Cheryl, the shoulders flinch. She's working on her BlackBerry thing. Cheryl, her assistant looks up. And she's like, she turns around, looks right at me, right through me, and waves at someone sitting behind me. Like, I'm looking through this glass cranium at one of my real friends. I'm like, my kneecaps fall off. My balls turn to BBs and go into my body cavity looking for solace and anonymity. And I'm like, And Adam goes, no, I see what they call it blank. It was brutal, and that's when it hit me. We're over. Like Ben and J-Lo, she and I are just Splitsville. And I just got it's like 6 years holding the torch, and man's mind, I'm tired. And so then the lights kind of flicker, and I was like, wait, here comes the movie. And out comes Quentin Tarantino. What a crazy looking little motherfucker he is. You think you're intense looking. Holy shit, man. Weird, he's just like these wide set eyes, and he has like the metabolic rate of a lab animal that runs on a wheel for 50 hours a day. There's a mic stand right in front of the screen where all the seats end. He grabs the mic, and this mic is going through the Man-Chinese front of house system loud enough to like loosen your bowels when you're moving venture first place. Like when a car crashes, just and so he has, he's plugged into that. He takes his hand on top of the mic and smashes it. Can you all hear me? Is this thing on? And the sound of his hand, that sound is so loud. You're bleeding. You're like, yes, it's on. God, would you stop it? And he does it over and over, and everyone's like, it's in the fetal position. Make it stop. He goes, you know what I was thinking of doing? Earlier today, I was thinking of getting 500 rats and waiting for the movie to start and letting them loose so they'd attack all you Hollywood people. And the Hollywood people, all of them who own him and could have him killed at any time, who give him the 100 and whatever million to make movies, all kind of like, we can laugh because we own 5 of you. We own the world. He goes, yeah. Then I was thinking of getting 500 Kill Bill jackets made, 250 in red, 250 in blue, and giving them to you Hollywood people, and then turning all the lights off and putting in 500 LA Crips and Bloods and see what would happen to you Hollywood people. he's an asshole. But he's our asshole. And so that goes away. He goes, this movie would have been possible without Uma Thurman. And many of you have seen the film. She is really amazing in that movie. And I think as an artist and actress, she's cool anytime. But she really stepped up to that one and arguably really carries that film. And she's brilliant in it. And so he goes like, this film wouldn't be possible without Uma Thurman. God damn it, Uma! Uma, get up! God damn it! God damn it! You're like, God, what do you have to talk like that to her for? She did your movie. And now that we see what an insufferable prick you are, she survived you for 6 months 2 times in her life. Mellow the fuck out, but he won't. God damn it, get up! And you know she's somewhere like, I'm not here, but you're 6'9", you can't hide, I know. She finally gets up like, hello, psycho. And mercifully he stops talking, and the film does its thing, and it was a lot of blood. I met the team who made the blood. They're friends of Adam. Hey, Henry, get the blood, guys. I said, how much fake blood was that? And this guy said, over 480 gallons, the most we've ever made for any movie. When you used every drop, they went, oh man, you had no idea. It's like a sea of blood, those big scenes. Anyway, so the film is over, and Adam goes, so, are we eating a whole lot of free food? My man. Rear 2 wheels down to the after party, run in there. We beat everyone there. We eat all the food in the entire building, and so now we're like just like sitting there against a pillar with our Diet Cokes, with our guts obscenely swinging over our waists, like, yes, free food is good food. And in come all these beautiful women, and they're like 190-year-old boyfriends. It was just weird. And the place is packed, and in comes Cheryl, and she's doing all that Hollywood kissy thing with everyone but me. Hi! You're welcome. Hi! Come on. Cheryl, come on! Didn't get anything. And so she walks by, I'm not there, my heart sinks, and I realize it's over, big time. And so we're standing there watching the thing get more and more surreal. And then it got really insane. Ike Turner walks in. And I'm like, whoa! Adam, it's fucking Ike Turner. That's not Ike Turner, no way. He wouldn't show up to a thing like this. I go, look at him. Little guy, fucking evil incarnate, flat top, bug eyes, beautiful 9-foot woman with him. I go, that's Ike Turner. No red jacket or something, he just looks Satan. You know, and I go, that's him. I said, no, it's not. I go, okay, maybe it's not. A few minutes later, he comes back. Henry, yeah, that is him. It's fucking Ike Turner. I said, I'm going in. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna meet him. He'll, no. He shoots people. Don't do it. I'm kind of shy. I don't walk up to people like, hi. I try, but it always comes out like 4 registers up, and somehow my name becomes Karen. I'm Karen! Shit! So I suck at that, and so when I want to meet someone, it either comes out like that, or I get so nerved up about it with fear of rejection that it just kind of comes out as like this weird ejaculation. So I kind of walk up to him like, I'm gonna meet Ike Turner. Mr. Turner! He's like, hey, he's about to go for a piece. I'm like, Mr. Turner, I went to Sun Studios once and I stood in the exact same place. They put a folding chair with your Fender Twin on top of it with a mic with a broken speaker, and you recorded Rocket 88, putting one of the first distorted guitars ever on tape, and you helped invent rock and roll, and I just want to shake your hand. You want? I did do that! Yes! Thank you! I'm like, right on, Mr. Turner. And me and my friend Adam, come here. Shake the hand of BT. Come here. And we go like, wow, right on. You know, what are you gonna ask Ike Turner? Right. You know, what are you gonna say to him? What do you think of Lawrence Fishburne? Really? I guess you don't like him. I mean, there's not. It's like I'm like, well, cool. You came to the movie, great. We're walking away. He doesn't know anyone in the whole building. We're the only people who talk to him, so he comes with us. So, the face of action moved to the side. He walks with us, and all of a sudden we're kicking it with Ike Turner and his cybernetic unit, hot-looking chick who's just kind of like sawdust coming out. And it was just like, okay, Mr. Turner, this conversation's going nowhere. It was utterly surreal, and he finally went away. And I said, so we look like ass. We should get out of here. Yeah, it's definitely time to leave. We're shorter than everyone in the whole building except for Ike. It's time to go. So we get in my car, I drop him off in my driveway, I go back into my house, but with a crash helmet, because I knew I was going to fall really bad. And that's why I still have a brain in my head, because I fell in the fucking bathroom and hit my head on the bathtub from the force of the post-ejaculatory repercussion. So I survived the blackout period, and then there I was, without a love in my life, looking for a lover to call my own. Yeah, and so every night I was hoping the dream weaver would come and help me make it to the morning light. I mean, sometimes you get desperate, So here I am without a love in my life, and I don't know what it's like to be without love in my life. I don't know how to even get through the day, and so I had to start looking for a love to call my own. And it took a few weeks, but I found her. She is very tall, very blonde. She gets a very mixed reaction wherever she goes. Some people really, really love her, and other people hate her fucking guts. Some people think she's stupid. Sometimes she's lampooned on Saturday Night Live. But she's my girl, and I'm gonna, stand up for her tonight. Her name is Ann Coulter. Yeah, don't you boo my woman. Now, for those of you who made no verbal response, you might not be familiar with the name. You kind of are, but you've seen her. She's that long blonde, vile, negative woman, the arch conservative you see on every talk show, who just says that's libels, that's slander. Every liberal loves crime, hates the working man, and loves paying taxes because he's already paid for his hot tub and is out to destroy America and doesn't give a tinker's cuss about the working man, and they should all be killed. And Joe McCarthy was great. She actually defends Joe McCarthy. And so there's a lot of people who don't like her. Not only do I like her, I am in love with her. So I decide Ann Coulter's the one, Cupid, and it's Ann. So I have to do all the research I can about my woman. I go to Amazon.com, where I look up her 3 books, the one that bashes Clinton and the other 2 that bash everything liberal. And it's the kind of books you read like 4 pages in, and they're so unremittingly and unrelentingly negative and hateful, you just can't read them, so you give them back. You're like, ow, it hurt my hand to hold it. So you can buy her books really cheap, because no one wants them no more. And so I bought all her books for like $8. And then I started downloading her bi-weekly articles off the internet and watching her on television. And just so I could learn more about my girl. And I decided, knowing that a relationship needs maintenance, you've got to upkeep this stuff. I mean, some of you are committed in a relationship, and good for you, but relationships don't maintain themselves. You got to put work in it. You have to work for love. You've heard that. Okay, so I decided I must show my dedication to this woman more often than not. I have to somehow testify and declare my love for her all the time. And so I decided to start writing her a series of letters and poems and love odes, just whatever was on my mind, just commentary on her articles, just like gushy love stuff and all the stuff I want to do to her when we were finally, hitting it on the futon. You know the one. And I came up with all these things like, I want to melt you over my cornflakes. I want to be the yin and sail into your Pyongyang. I want to treat your panty line like the 33rd parallel and descend south and invade your soul. I want to rub buddy oil into your ass orbs. I don't even know what buddy oil is. It just sounds kind of really cute and endearing. I want to take my penile pogo stick and penetrate your palatial paradise of poon. More alliteration than Samuel Beckford Coleridge could have even swallowed at the time. And so I'm into her big time. Now, if you know anything about Ann Coulter, you know that she's 40-something. So if she's an old woman and I'm an old guy, this is going to be great. But there's some sticking points. She is absolutely against premarital sex. I have never seen a wedding band on her finger. Okay, I may not just have seen it, maybe because of the brass knuckles that she's always wearing. For the Gestapo-like beatdown she gives anyone who disagrees with her. But I've not seen a wedding band, so it basically is my potential task that to de-virginize a 41-year-old woman. Oh my God, do you realize the undertaking that this is? It'd be like joining the Peace Corps, where everyone goes, good for you. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So in preparation for our meeting, and we're gonna meet, I've been doing tongue-ups. I've been doing, speed bag, heavy bag with my tongue, going for like punching power, dexterity, nimbleness, and just sheer, hour after hour energy. Because this is a woman who's more disenfranchised from an orgasm than Condoleezza Rice. So I have a lot of work to do. It's gonna be one of those situations, some of you guys have been there, like, okay. 8 hours later, anything? No. Anything? No. So I'm ready. I've got to kind of warm up this kind of hot Aryan iceberg woman. If there's anyone on the earth to do this, I think it's me. And I know all of you will be behind me. So I start writing these letters. It starts smelling like a book to me. And so I think if I publish this stuff, I run the risk of getting sued. She's a lawyer. She probably would love to litigate and stamp out a free-thinking soul such as myself. So I have to change her last name so I don't have to go into the court system and get knocked around by the love of my life. So I have to pick out a name that kind of sounds like hers, Coulter, T-E-R, Coulter. So I picked out a name, I got it, Hitler. And Hitler. So if you ever see a book with my name on it that says, to Dear Anne, with love, Dear Anne Hitler, with love, Henry Rollins, then you'll know that I wasn't kidding around. So, just to show you that I'm not fucking with you, this is one of my first letters. I haven't typed into it. It's my notebook. I'm going to read to you one of my little love letters. I've written a bunch of these. Some are angry, some I get mad at my girl. And, as you get emotional when you're with the woman of your dreams, it can't all be, peaches and stormtrooper boots. But here's just this quick letter. It takes like a minute and a half to read, and hopefully it'll be relatively painless. But anyway, here we go. Thank you. I love you too, but I love Anne more, and you can't sway me from my objective. Anne, she is my HVT, okay? Let's just know that. Thank you. Dear Anne, when I read today that the man who wrote the introduction for your book, Berserker, Liberal Lies in the American Reich, is a drug addict, something inside me broke. I was confused. My little conservative confection and future concubine had a raving, bloviating, drug-crazed maniac writing an introduction for her book. Yeah, Rush Limbaugh put his show on hiatus and is going into rehab to hang out with Jack Osborne. And Tommy Chong is going to prison for 9 months for selling a bong on the internet. Go figure. In fact, the last few days have been hard, and I have no one to reach out to, no one to confide in, no one to grope and mooch off of. So it's been rough. Rough like 20 miles of bad road. Rough like how California's gonna be a year from now, seeing they have no governor. So, I'm reaching out to my dreamboat baby, my numero uno hot slice oh so nice, hot like lava, cold as ice, bootylicious blonde bombshell. You. Anne Hitler, I'm in love with you. And there's not a moment that goes by where you're not in my thoughts. You might be wondering, Anne, why all of a sudden I make my amorous feelings known to you. Well, it's not the shortest of stories, but you inspire me, so my pen is like John Henry's hammer, and the words just keep pounding down upon the page. Inspired? You better believe it. And I just came out of a long 6-year relationship. But I have to confess this. I've had strong feelings for you for a long time, but you've always seemed so far out of my reach. Why, I still don't think I have a chance with you, but my cup runneth over, and I've got the embarrassing and telltale stains on my jeans to prove it. Anne Hitler, you are fine. And I can't wait until we're dating and sneaking away from our relentless schedules of blatant self-promotion to send each other little text messages of love and malice on our cell phones. I watch you on TV and I read your books, and gosh, do we have a lot to talk about. I read your books over and over, and the more I read, the more questions I want to ask you. You say some really intense stuff. You're no Britney Spears. You've got everything a man could want. Grace, style, poise, intellect, humor, beauty, credit cards, a car, money, a place I can move into, running water, cable, a couch I can crash on. And if you had a couple of pairs of clean white socks, a rockin' 5.1 surround system with a huge kick-ass plasma screen, we are so happening. And I predict 2 years from now, our first child will come. It will be a boy. We'll name him Anne. Thank you. Anne, love you, Henry. Thank you. So, my strategy to invade her panty line is the following. I am going to badger her and talk about her every night until she finally hears about it through some weirdo internet grapevine. And she looks me up, and then she sees all those JPEGs you can get with, like, you know, balls hanging off my nose, or like an ass that talks out the side of my head. Yeah, I'm sure there's something like that out there. But she'll see the truth, and she'll read my poetry, and she'll see that I'm a wild man looking for a woman to tame my angry and unruly soul. And she'll come to my rescue, and I'll be there. So until that day comes, hold the line. Love is not always on time. So, I quickly, or not so quickly, want to tell you about these 2 phone calls that hit me on the same day in my office several weeks ago. The first of which was really intense. The second of which I'll tell you about 2 or 3 hours from now. Anyway, the first one was from my manager. And he called me and said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "Go ahead." He said, "The USO wants you to go out to the middle of nowhere and cheer up the troops." I said, "Cheer up the troops? Is that possible?" He went, "I don't know." I said, "Here's another question. Do they know what they're potentially getting?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, like, "You know me with a microphone on stage in front of anybody." He went, "Oh, yeah. I better call him. I'll get back to you." And that's when the next phone call rolled in. Like I said, I'll tell you about it 3 or 4 days from now. So, manager calls back. He goes, "Yeah, they've actually seen you perform. They love you and your potty mouth and your zero restraint factor. And they'd like you to go out there and let them have it." I went, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, so it's up to you. Do you want to go or not?" I said, "Let me give that no thought whatsoever." Okay. Because I figure they're standing in front of bullets. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're getting their asses chewed on by scorpions. And I'm dicking around in my office. I got time for this. And so, and these people are all heroes to me, you know, and we have our disagreements with the thing in Iraq, but you can't have any fault with the brave men and women of the Allied forces. They're only going where they're deployed, you know? And if you ask any of them, where would you rather be, here or home? They go, home? I mean, they don't want to be there, but they're doing a job. And if I can go out there and, you know, and you know me, always looking for the story. And so I sign up for it, and then I call Mike. I go, "Hey, Mike, you want to go out on a crazy trip to the middle of nowhere to cheer up the troops?" He went, "Yeah." You know, he's just back from chasing burglars. And so 2 weeks later, Mike and I take off from California. We go LA to London Heathrow to Istanbul, Turkey. Wham! Land in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan at the Gansi Air Base. And so wake up the next morning and go walking through this tent city and to eat our first of many Halliburton root meals. The people who ripped you off for $6 million the other day. Anyway, so we're eating, you know, this food and, you know, free. I'm like, I feel a little guilty because I'm paying for it, you're paying for it, but fuck it, I'm going for it. There's a war on it, really. Eat. And so I'm eating, and one by one, young men and women start coming over to my table. "Excuse me, sir, I know you're busy deploying food, but I'm shipping out in about 45 minutes. If I could, I'd just like to do a quick meet and greet operation, do a handshake op, and then I'll DD out of here." I'm like, "So you don't have to call me sir, call me Henry." He goes, "Okay, sir, I'll do that." And I start meeting these people while I'm eating, even though the meet and greet thing doesn't start for a while, but I don't care. And then you start meeting these people, and they're all like that guy's the coolest guy you ever met. And then you meet the next one, that's the coolest guy you've ever met. These are like these bright-eyed young people who show you photos of their wives and their kids, and they're hey, so what's going on in America? You're like, it's right over there. And then you realize this is fucking Mars. And these people are just they're just so good, and all you want for them is to be home. You see so many wedding bands on these people, and they're all so young. And I'm like, what, 53, right? So they're all like kids to me. And so I'm meeting them, and then we go around the base all day, and I'm meeting all kinds of incredible people. And we go into one of the C-130 Hercules, cargo planes, and that's when you start meeting those right stuff guys, the ones they pick out of like 8 billion people. Mike and I are taken into the cockpit of a C-130 Hercules, those huge planes where the back comes down, and they deploy the men and the supplies. And you meet this like NASA right stuff guy. Hello, sir. Like, fuck, that hurt. Every bone is broken. They're like, hello, sir. Welcome to the C-130 Hercules. I'm just going to show you a little bit about what the C-130 can do. His hands become a blur as he like does everything with every dial, and his mouth just like starts speaking, and like logarithms come out. Fucking numbers. You're like, you are the smartest man alive. I like to think so, sir, but in any case, we can land on no engine, one engine, the whole thing on fire, upside down with the tail gone. We like getting shot at, sir. We like to push the envelope with the C-130 Hercules to see what this thing can do. Like, what, you like getting shot at? Absolutely, sir, absolutely, definitely. Hooah. Are you going to say, no, sir, it's like the C-130 Hercules can do hooah. You're like, okay. Oh, thank you for the liquid, sir. I already have one PCP inside it already. But thanks to the gesture. In a few years, he'll be tossing it at my head, but for now, we're all friendly with each other. So anyway, you meet these people who are way smarter than you'll ever be, and you go into these rooms where you have to stand outside the door for 5 minutes while they put up all the classified material. Like, there's classified stuff in there. I promise I don't want to die. I won't look at anything. All right, bring in the pussy-ass USO civilian from planet Earth, and they walk you in. There's like a room full of young men and women staring intently at laptop computer screens. They go, Dan Hunt, the pussy ass of the USO is here. They're like, hello, sir. Back to work. Like, oh, what are they doing? They're watching the sky. Each one is watching a square foot of the sky. And what happens if a bird goes through there? We kill it. We know it. We know what time of the day it flew, how fast, and the size of the bird, or bomb, or anything. Can you track air? We can track molecules. And all they do is watch the screen for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And you go from building after building, and you meet these people who have trained to focus on the head of a pin. And this is what they do. And you want to just go to the Taliban or the Baathists and say, fellas, you better cut the shit. You might get a couple of the other guys, but you're gonna lose. I mean, I'm not trying to be, oh, we're so tough. We are, however, the most fearless, well-trained, most technically advanced, focused, disciplined group, the world has ever seen. The U.S. military is absolutely unbeatable. And it's really fucking intimidating what these guys are trained to do. They're not just guys walking around with rifles. They're just like these death technicians. And it's like a lot of thought goes into this, and they talk in that clipped thing, like, high value target, sir, and it's all abbreviated. Like, could you please translate? Sorry, sir. And they have to break it down for you pussy-ass civilian earthling. And you go room after room meeting these people who just do what they do better than you do what you do. And you're like, I'm glad you're around. And so I meet hundreds of them, and then that hours, worst fucking plane ride of your life. They pull the seat off the wall. You sit down and go, ow, ow, my ass hurts, my ass hurts, my ass hurts, my ass hurts. Where's the toilet? We don't have one. Doesn't your ass hurt? No. What are you, a pussy? We. So, like 100 million hours. And I've never landed in an airplane like that in my life. They're like, sir, please pull your seats up, put your DVD player away. We're going to be landing in about 30 minutes. The C-130 landing is just this abrupt thing in a windowless, bilging fucking cavern. It's like, and holy shit, are we okay? And everyone is around like, what? We're here. You're like, oh, I knew that. Hula. So wham, the back comes down, they load out all the cargo, and then the human cargo, as we're referred to, we have to wait. Air Force boy comes running up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know everyone wants to use the restroom facilities, but I must ask you to hold on to that for a second. Go into this quant center, we're going to quickly debrief you, then you can use the facilities. Hua, very well, much welcome you to the Bagram Air Base here in lovely Afghanistan. Have a great fucking day, let's go. All the Air Force guys go right to the debriefing. All the Army's guys go right to the toilet. And Mike goes, check it out, all the Army guys are going right to the toilet. I go, but why? Because an Air Force guy told them to. They're like, yeah, I'm going right to the debriefing, fuck you. And they just blow off the Air Force guys. So that's kind of how it's swinging over there. But we walk up this perfectly dark runway. There's no lights on at the Bagram Air Base because you light a light and you're a target. So you're on this huge runway, getting out of this massive plane. You're like, holy fuck, you hold on to a man's helmet. Like, I'll walk with you. And eventually Mike and I are taken to this building that was left over from the Russians. And we're thrown in this room and like, we'll come to get you at 0330Z, Zulu time, which is what they exist on in Afghanistan. You've got like, 9 hours and turn yourself around, they have some TV for you, get a meal over at the mess hall, make sure you use your ID to get on and off this part of the base. Otherwise, if you don't have the ID, we'll have to shoot you. Really? You're not kidding. Okay, very good. And so they leave us to our own devices, and Mike goes like, let's freshen the room up, and I'll open a window. You pull the curtain back, sheet ply. There's no light getting out of this. So you turn on the TV, CNN. Today in Afghanistan, you're like, well, what is going on in Afghanistan? We're in it. I mean, it takes a second to sink in. Several hours go by, we eat some more Halliburton food, and it's time for the 15 straight hour meet and greet operation. And so Mike and I walk back to this building that we saw in the dark to see in the light. It's this huge building just peppered with bullet holes. And I'm not used to seeing buildings peppered with bullet holes. Even though I live in LA, you see a few pock marks from when some gang went by and sprayed up a club, but nothing like this. This looks like some kind of movie. And I go up like some guy looking to buy a bridge in New York. Excuse me, sir, are those real bullet holes? Cool, sir. I guess that's a yes. They said, sir, we took this base, from the Taliban. And I said, so what, you shot bullets? He goes, sir, what, you think we just walked up here and like shook hands and they walked away? This, in fact, where you're standing is one of the sites of the worst firefights we had to get this base. Hundreds of people were killed all around, like, where are we standing? Like, yeah, and then you realize you're really in it, as much as they'll let a civilian get in it. So you're like, holy shit, man. And that's when we meet these two guys who are gonna drive us around all day. They give us our 75-pound, 100-pound ceramic-plated body armor. You put this on, all of a sudden you feel like a Galapagos tortoise. You're like, holy shit, I can't even stand up. We're thrown into this van, and Mike and I and all these Army guys, we leave the base. As soon as we leave the base, everyone around us locks and loads their weapons, pulls their sidearms out and puts them in plain sight. Like, whoa! It's like more guns in a rap video. And they're all like locked and loaded. I'm like, what? Whoa! And they go, well, sir, on the base, you clear your weapons as soon as you leave the base, you lock and load. I'm like, okay, we're not in Ohio anymore. Well, not in Cincinnati. Anyway, so we leave. We're going through Bagram, the surrounding little township, and that's when I saw a woman in a burqa. You know what the burqa is? Not that sexy little veil, like, oh, you see me, how you doing? It's that fucking anonymous half sleeping bag, body bag that some women are made to wear. And it's the most stifling, oppressive thing I've ever seen on a human being. It's like this sack and like this little black grill you can't see in. And I did some recon on the burqa later when I got back to planet Earth days later. The burqa must be cut so the body weight of a woman cannot be discerned within 50 pounds. And you see this man with this thing in a burqa. I also found out that the women are not allowed to wear shoes that make any noise. So they walk silently, you can't see them, you can't discern what's in there. They do not exist. And they don't talk, and they don't have a life. And it just makes you see how different things are here than there. Because you see that, you want to jump out of the van, crack the dude upside the head, pull the thing off the lady, go, lady, what the fuck? I'll kick your whole family's ass if they're gonna make you wear that. We'll go over there and show them something. Because think of how difficult it would be, fellas, to get your woman into a burqa if it was not the prelude to some kind of weirdo sex play. You know what I mean? Like you put on the burqa, and then you'll be the naughty woman. But if you say to your American woman, hey, we're going out bowling, get your fucking burqa on. You want to see what your balls look like? Here! And it's different cultures. So you pull out of town, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! And a burqa is a really oppressive looking thing in person. So now we're driving towards Kabul. And everywhere you look, it's just green, brown, flat, no people, fences. Assorted war junk, melted down tank, jet engine left over from the Russian-Afghan war. I'm like, where's the people? Where's the towns? Where's the civilization? And one of the fellows, the sergeant major, says, you can't walk there. Those are all minefields. I went, everywhere? He went, yeah. You have to stay on the paths. Later on, I find out from doing a little research over the Christmas holiday that Afghanistan is the most heavily landmined country in the world. The UN website says about 12 million mines, anti-tank and anti-personnel. During the Russian-Afghan war, the Russians were dropping toy bombs. Little mines, bombs that look like toys, little kids pick them up, boom, blows them up. Demoralizes the other team pretty heavily if you go after their kids. But as you know, the Afghans are one tough bunch. The Taliban are tough, the Mujahideen were tough. There's an old Hindu saying, oh gods, from the teeth of the tiger and the fangs of the cobra and the vengeance of the Afghan, deliver us. And when you see these people, you just get it. You look at these men, they look at you with these burning eyes coming out of their face, and they're squatting on the side of the road with a rifle and looking at you like, I'll eat your face. Whoa! And they're like the local warlord thugs who pull over vehicles and shake them down for money. And every time we pass by, they kind of look at our army guys, and the army guys look back at them. I go, do you guys ever pull over and give them money? And they're like, we love them to try and pull us over. And they give each other this look, they're both smiling at each other like, go ahead, bitch. I'm not afraid of you. And the Afghan guy's like, I'm not afraid of you either. And neither, those guys aren't afraid of anything. And every once in a while you see like either a pile of rocks or a stick with some green on the top. Like, what's that out there in the field? Those are graves where the warrior shot. They just bury you right where you fall, and green is the color of valor. So they top you off a little bit of green so they know that a brave man is underneath that pile of rocks. So you're driving by death, warlords, war junk, and signs that say mines. So we get near Kabul, we go to the Phoenix base, and they walk us through like their whatever point plan to democratize and stabilize Afghanistan. And this is just the thing I want to tell you that you don't really see on the news that much. When you see how much of our effort in Afghanistan, yeah, we're trying to kick the ass off the Taliban, and we will. Those guys, someone should get to Osama and tell him, you can have some fun, but you're all gonna die. Your families are gonna die. Unless they quit, they're all going to get killed, because the Americans are just thoroughly unstoppable. It'll be over at some point, but it will be over, and I know who's going to win. So anyway, you see how much time and energy is going into really trying to help Afghanistan. When you meet these guys, they're not like, fuck Afghan, they're like, we love the Afghan people, they've been through so much, they're so brave in battle, they kicked the ass off the Russians, they lost like 2/3 of their population, and they just wouldn't stand down. And we want to help them learn to read and write. We want to clean up their water. We want to give them, democracy. And you're like, wow, when you're done with Afghanistan, can you do it to America? Because we need schools, clean water, and democracy. And so I said, so what are you doing to get the government stable? He goes, well, as it is, Hamid Karzai can't even leave his own property because the warlords go, yeah, you're the head of nothing, bitch. And I said, yeah, you're never going to get a democracy in here. He goes, no, but at least we can get everyone to be cool with each other so the warlords could at least acknowledge the Afghan National Army. Basically, we want to stabilize this place so we can get the hell out of here. So the only way to get out is to let them be growing their own stuff, learning to read and write. You find out most people in Afghanistan are illiterate. They've never had a chance to learn to read and write. Allied forces are building schools, as many as they can, as fast as they can, because they just can't keep up with the demand. Everyone wants to learn to read and write. Can you imagine being an adult, or however old you are, and not knowing how to read and write in your own language? You can't fathom that. And we do have a lot of semi-literate motherfuckers in this country, but you know what I mean. Not having a fucking clue, that's insane. And this fellow said, yeah, people are so happy that they're learning to read and write. Women, a lot of women, you try and learn to read and write, get fucked up. So he says, we're getting women in here, just like really wanting to learn how to, master their brain. So we're doing some really good stuff there, and that's what part of the 87 billion is going. And right on, that's worth it. These are good people at the end of the day. The Taliban sucks, but Afghanistan's reasonably cool, dangerous. So we drive back from there, back to the Bagram Air Base, and we're going from all these different places. We go into the hospital, and there's only 3 people there at the time, 3 Afghanis, 2 men in a car crash, bleeding and leaking fluid from everywhere, and they look fucked, but they're getting the best care taken of them. You walk down to the back of the tent. There's a little girl, 4 or 5 years old, and all little girls 4 or 5 years old to me are gorgeous, and you just love them unconditionally because they're cute and they're little girls and they're funny and amazing. And this little girl has this expression on her face that's almost funny. She's sitting in bed like this. And it's funny, because here in America, you're like, oh, what's the matter? Did your iBook go down? You can't trade online today? No, my Britney doll broke, and I can't, thing. And you're like, oh, and so you can see this girl, and your immediate reaction is, oh, what's the matter? And a doctor walks over, and he goes, oh, yeah, she's warming up to us, and he puts his hand on her head, pats her head, and she doesn't acknowledge it. She's like a stone. She's looking, staring holes into the wall, like this. I'm like, whoa, what's her problem? And the doctor, without any warning, he just pulls the blanket off her, left leg gone. I'm like, whoa, you should have given me a little heads up on that. He just puts the blanket back. I go, what happened? Landmine. I go, I thought you guys had all this stuff roped off. He goes, we do, but the Taliban digs up the landmines the Russians left and moves them to where people are. And you say to a little kid, don't go there. They're there like a shot. You know how kids are. Don't dig there. Boom, they're going to dig there. And the little girl got her leg blown off by a landmine. She's like this high. She's going to have one leg for the rest of her life. And I said, so, what's she like? He says, she won't talk to us. She came in here, she didn't cry. She didn't make a sound. I'm like, didn't cry? He goes, no. And we get kids coming in here. They all seem to fall out of trees, broken shoulders, fractured skulls. Parents beat the crap out of them. And I said, no one cries. He goes, they don't cry. And then I found out later, doing a little research on Afghanistan, by age 7, Afghan boys, if you're seen crying, you're seen as despicable. You're hated by your family. You're shunned. So no matter what happens to these kids, they're like, it's the will of Allah, and I just take the pain. And you pinch me, I start crying like a motherfucker. It shows you how soft we are in comparison. But anyway, that was pretty intense. And then I meet the head nurse, who's kind of Nurse Ratchet. She's an unsmiling woman because she sees a bunch of legs and blown off and bodies, piled up in mounds. And so I said, so landmine, a lot of amputations here? She goes, yeah, sometimes a guy will lose a toe, but the force of the blast will send dirt into the skin, sometimes all the way up the leg into the upper leg, and there's so much human fecal matter in the dirt that the whole leg becomes infected, and from a toe pop or mine, we'll have to amputate above the knee. And then she said, I could show you 3-ring binders full of amputated stumps, but I bet you don't want to see that, do you? I was like, no, I guess I don't, tough lady. So that's war. It's, you don't need me to tell you, but it's pretty rough stuff. And so we leave there, we go down to the airstrip where all the jets take off and the C-130s, and we meet the quick response team. The psycho young men who live in a box by the runway, who in less than 8 minutes can be out of their pajamas, in their outfit, locked and loaded on a Chinook or something, off, looking for the shit. And these are the most gung-ho psycho motherfuckers, because they're on 24 hours a day. If you've slept like 40 minutes and you gotta work for 20 hours, shut up, put your stuff on and go. You're a quick response team. And these guys live for it. Some of you guys are young. Some of you guys are old like me. You remember 100 years ago when you were young. What was your thing? Chicks or guys, whatever, sex, things that were fast, loud, rude, abrasive, and you like to drink, fight, cuss, and fuck around. What if I took away your loud records, your fast car, your girlfriend, and your buddies, and gave you guns, bombs, machine guns, cool kick-ass vehicles, and an enemy that you hate? You'd be crazy, because instead of driving fast and listening to whatever, you get to fucking drop fire on people. So you meet these guys who are just so into it. And they're like, hoo-ah, we got a quick response team, sir! Fucking glad to meet you, sir! Hoo-ah! And you're like, whoa, don't eat my head. Sir, is it possible that you and I can take a photo of you and me and my gun? I've never been asked this question before. Like, sure, go ahead. Guy, you're like, hoo-ah! He runs away, he comes back with this gun. Here's my gun, it's like 80 pounds of metal. Is that thing real? It can kill everyone in Iowa, sir! He's like this, holding it, with one hand, and his other hand's like, and you're holding it, and the gun like, hello. And and you're meeting all these guys, and they're the bestest guys you ever meet, you know, and they all have their names on their chest, and you just keep seeing those names on the KIA list, and you go, God, I wish you were home with your friends dicking around, and you see, again, so many wedding bands. These guys seem to pop out of school, get married, and I'm asking them questions. I go like, so, you ever been to New York? No, sir. Where have you been? Sir, I was born in Iowa, went down to Texas for basic training, went to Germany for 2 weeks, got rotated out here, and now I go in and out of Baghdad and Pakistan, sir. Hua. I go, so you've never been to DC? No. LA, Chicago? No. You've never been anywhere? You just kind of got out of high school, married the girl, and your first trip was getting here in the desert? Hua. That's intense stuff. I just hope the guy survives it. And so I meet all of them. We do every psychotic photo you can think of. And, the best of the best. Easily the last people in the world you want to piss off. Because they're trying to kill you. They're not trying to, shake your hand. They're trying to blow your fucking head off and kind of go, let's do lunch. I mean, that's what they do. So you meet them. It's pretty awe-inspiring. You walk out to the airstrip. And then I met #1 psycho of the whole tour. Huge bald man. He's the guy who puts the bombs on the planes. He loves his job. Oh, sir, I've been putting bombs on planes and ammunition into planes for 20 years, sir. I love dropping bombs on bad guys and ruining their day. We love firing bullets on bad guys and killing every one of them. Hooah! 20 guys. Hooah! Like, hooah! So the Gatling gun in front of this jet can fire one bullet in every square yard of a football field in half a second, sir. We can kill everyone in Afghanistan in 14 hours, sir. Hooah! Hooah! Sir, we'd be honored, sir, if you'd be here on the background base, visit us today, sir. Take this Sharpie, walk over that bomb and sign it. This bomb costs $500,000, weighs 500 pounds, and can kill everyone in the entire world. Would you sign our bomb, sir? I have been asked to sign many weird things in my life. A few times it has happened. Someone thought I was a rock star, and yes, I signed them. Ted on one, Nugent on the other, because I cannot take that kind of thing seriously. But no one has ever said to me, sign my bomb, sir! And the bomb is going to go that way, and anything underneath that bomb is going to have an incredibly bad day. It's going to be no more. Tree, house, human, anything is dead once that bomb hits the ground. And I say to myself, if I'm not man enough to fly the thing, or to drop the thing, or to be here in the middle of this, then why should I have the gratuitous, weird, non-pleasure of signing a bomb that will easily kill something human, when I'm not going to be the man to drop it? Isn't this just kind of me? I shouldn't be doing this. But it's USO, people pleasing, hey, defending your country, sign the fucking bomb. So I go like, okay, and I walk over there. When I get nervous, I try and be funny, and I always fail. So I write, what happened? It was all over so fast. And I sign my name. Like, I'm a bad guy, what's that thing? You're dead. Like, it's a book. You're dead. So I'm thinking, that'll be funny. Oh, and they're all like, look what he put, oh. And they're all taking photos of it. I'm like, don't take photos of that. No. It went right out over the internet. Days later, when I returned to planet Earth, people were writing me, what the fuck, man? What happened? It was all over so fast. How'd you know that? Dude, I saw you signing this bomb. It's all over the internet. Like, oh, busted. So I did that because I didn't want to disappoint the guy, but I felt kind of crappy about doing it because I thought it was a little gratuitous. Not as if any ink on the bomb I'm putting on is going to deter its path, but like I said, if I'm not man enough to drop it, I don't want to be a puss enough to sign it, but I did, and that happened. So anyway, I spend the rest of the day meeting the best of the best. I meet Australians, New Zealanders, Brits, and Americans, and they're all just fantastic. Marines, Special Forces, Army, and Air Force. And by the end of the day, I'm taken to their huge theater called the Clamshell, like big thing, and they just kind of go, ladies and gentlemen, Henry Rollins, the place is packed. I'm like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? I don't know, here's a mic, do that thing you do. I go, I don't have a thing, I'm a bullshit artist. They go, I don't know, then do that. I'm like, and there's a bunch of guys with guns. I'm like, ha! Oh no, well. And so I talked to him a bit, and I at one point I had to mention this to him. I said, folks, I know that I've been here the last 2 days with all of you, and I remember 3 or 4 days ago, Geraldo Rivera was here. Grumble. I'm like, well, what side of the fence is that grumble on? Is like, don't you mess with our Geraldo, or it's like, yeah, Geraldo, I hate his guts. I can't judge it. But I do remember, and you remember this as well, there was a little news bite of Geraldo running through a live firefight with his scarf and his leather jacket on. I'm in a live firefight in Afghanistan. The camera's running at him like an episode of Cops. And you hear, U.S. military all over going, get down! And he's like, no, I'm doing TV for the Fox Network, fair and balanced, unbiased news reportage, and even though I'm endangering U.S. soldiers by standing here and they have to act like Secret Service to take a bullet for my dumbass, I'm going to do it anyway. And finally they threw the both of them down into a hole. And that was the end of this thrilling live firefight. And you're like, gee, way to endanger a bunch of people, because if you're up and running and you're a civilian, the armed forces must protect you. So they kind of have to stand around you so you don't get shot at. This guy could have gotten someone killed or thoroughly maimed. And then when you see injury in the news report, 2 dead, 5 injured, it's not an injury like you and I enjoy here. Ooh, owie, I have on my knee, ow, back teen, mom. An injury over there, eye gone, arm gone, foot gone, fucking intestines gone. Pissing into a fucking bag for the rest of your life. That's an injury over there. And so that's what Geraldo did. This made me hate his guts immediately. Kill that motherfucker on sight. I always thought he was a bloviating, blowhard dickhead. Now I just hate him because he endangered people. But I don't know what the military thinks of him. He might be their favorite dog. And everywhere I went, oh, Geraldo was here a few days ago, and he stood right where you're standing for the photo. I'm like, no, I'm moving away then. And so I said, look, folks, I watched the other day, and I watched how he treated all you guys like extras and endangered your lives by running around. And I not wanting to put him down if you guys like him, but my opinion is I think that guy's a fucking bitch. I hate him. The place goes apeshit. Guys in the back commanding officer like... And I would love to meet Geraldo and say, guess what, motherfucker? You were roundly booed by 1,000 of the world's finest fighters for being such an asshole. And I'm sure there's a Geraldo.com. I'll find him. I'll drop a little letter. I write Bill O'Reilly often enough. I'm going to write him too. My new strategy to fuck with O'Reilly's, I can't write Ann every night. I'm going to start writing him like homo boy love letters. Describing all that kind of hot man shit I want to do with him until he blocks my address. And then I'll publish him and fucking rake him over the coals. But, he'll submit to me. Oh, yes, he will. But anyway, so they don't like Geraldo. I was a big hit. And the next day I fly to Doha, Qatar, spent 2 days with the fine young men and women of the Allied forces there. And then my tour is over, and we leave right in time for the morning prayer out of Doha. We land in Heathrow, which is like, it's London. It's like landing on planet Earth. People walking around in duty-free, the smell of perfume and cologne, Toblerone bars, no guns, smiling people, safe fat people walking around. And you've just come from this backdrop that is thoroughly insane. At the Bagram Air Base, the Russians got their asses kicked pretty hard from the ground-to-air Stinger missiles we gave the Afghans, and they turned around and beat the shit out of the Russians. The Russians ran like pussies back home, and they left all their jets behind. And there's this thing called the MiG graveyard at Bagram, and there's I count 15 MiG jets, literally in a pile. And Mike and I crawled on them all day long and took crazy photos. And a lot of the jets still have the ejector seat in, and it's a live charge. So if you kind of bump into the seat and it ejects, takes your head with it. So they go, watch that one, don't go in that one. And you realize, you can get blown up all the time. So anyway, we land in Heathrow, and it's me and Mike and USO woman. So I said, hey, USO woman. She goes, yeah. I go, does anyone ever go back for another tour for the USO? She went, what do you mean? I went, do people ever go back? She went, you want to go again? I went, yeah. She went, you would? I went, absolutely. She goes, okay. I go, when? She goes, you tell us. You give us 60 days notice. You have carte blanche. I went, can I go to Baghdad? She went, yeah. I said, okay, book it. So we're going in May to... So, when you meet these people, they're so glad to see you. They go, sir, it's an honor to meet you. I go, no, it's not. I'm an asshole. What are you talking about? But you can make someone's week, and they're dodging bullets, and you're dicking around in business class. Fuck it, I'm going. So, doing that. So anyway, I fly 27 hours to get back to America to respond to the second phone call that I was telling you about an hour ago. Okay. Just have to wait for it. So, here's what the phone call's about. I went from Doha to Heathrow to Newark to Nashville, Tennessee. What was the phone call? The phone call was from producer, piano player, band leader Ben Folds. Nice guy. And Ben said, hey Henry, I'm on tour calling you from a cell phone. I went, okay. And he said, I'm going to produce a record for William Shatner. I said, well, good for you. He went, I want you to be on it. I said, what can I possibly do? He goes, I don't know. But if you show up, something will happen. And it will be pretty cool. I went, okay. I mean, you know, life is short. If there's a strange road, I say go quick before someone else beats you out. And so I said, I'm on. And so we booked it. And so I went 27 straight hours, landed in Nashville, Tennessee, have a day off where I kind of walk around like, wow, people, trees, no minds. And the next day, Folds picks me up and takes me to the studio. And I walk in and meet William Shatner. Whoa. Henry! I'm William Shatner! I thought I was intense. Holy shit, man. So, Ben may have told you I'm making an album. Oh yeah, you are. So he'd been working on this rant he called I Can't Get Behind That, where he has a long list of things he cannot get behind. So I looked at it and I said, how about this? How about I do a little writing, we divide it up, make it like a script. You can't get behind this, I can't get behind that. We go back and forth, then we do it kind of like a thing. And he goes, wow, what a great idea. Okay, so we do some writing, we give it to his secretary, they type it into the Macintosh, they print it out, we look at it, and Ben goes, great. So we're going to the vocal booth with a drummer who's out in the room doing this crazy stuff in the background, and he's like, the price of oil is going up, yet the price of gasoline goes down. I can't get behind that. And then I say what I can't get behind, and halfway through the song, the drummer stops, and we both look at each other and go, I can't get behind that. The drummer goes back in, and we're doing this, and we can't get behind it. We do like 5 takes of it, and it's really fun. Working with him is so much fun. He's 72. Has the energy of a 15-year-old. He's just awesome. And he's like wonderful, he's funny, he's really kooky, and he's just great. And he's just like, wow, do you feel like doing another one? I'm like, yeah, man, like let's go. It was really fun. So we do a bunch of them. Ben goes, all right, we got like 3 great ones. So what do you want to do now? Shatner, Ben, we need a guitar. Get a guitar. It's your record, Mr. Shatner. It's Nashville. Every 3rd person in Nashville is a session musician. There's no problem. So he comes into our room a moment later. He goes, okay, I've called a guitar player. We're going to go out and eat. Guitar player is going to set up, and we're going to come back from dinner. He's going to listen to the track. We're going to try this all over again with a guitar player. So I said, so Ben, who's the guitar player? Thinking it's going to be some anonymous session guy whose name will escape me. And he goes, it's a guy named Adrian Belew. Okay, for those 80 of you who went, whoa, you can see on paper how thoroughly insane that is. For those of you who don't know who he is, you do, but you don't. He's on like every David Bowie record that you need to have. And also he's in a little old band called King Crimson for the last 20-something years. He is a guitar player extraordinaire and just amazing. He's got a Stratocaster that will not quit. And I have every record he's ever done, all the bootlegs. I'm one of those annoying assholes. So like, Adrian Belew, like the King Crimson guy, he's gonna be in the studio. Like, yeah, the guy, I have this record, and Ben's like, oh my God, are you one of those guys? I'm like, yeah, he's like, oh shit. And so we're on our way out. Adrian Belew walks in with his roadie. I'm like, hi, he's like, I'm Adrian, your name is Henry, you're going to dinner, I'm gonna set up, I'll see you soon. Thank you, bye. And I'm like, Ben, that was Adrian fucking Belew. He goes, yeah. I'm like, how would you do that? He goes, he lives down the street. Do you know him? Yeah. And what, you just called him? What? Yeah. How'd it go? He said, I just called. I said, Adrian, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm mixing a record. Huh. I'm here with Henry Rollins and William Shatner. You want to jump in on this? And we went, how insane. I'm on my way. So there you go. And so we're driving to the restaurant. I'm doing the best I can to impress upon Shatner the godhead of him having Belew on his record. But Shatner wants to talk about dinner. Henry, My friend from the eastern seaboard captures the greatest scallops I've ever had. And I don't know how one captures a scallop. Is it a wild little creature? Is it an invasive thing that hides in the murky depths of the ocean? Is it a fierce creature that pursues its potential predator? I don't know. It's like, oh look, shh, scallop. Go. How do you apprehend the scallop? All right, copper, you got me. I don't know. But all I know is he's got a friend from the eastern seaboard who captures the greatest scallops I've ever had. Henry, I have flown him from the eastern seaboard with the scallops. He's going to meet us at the restaurant. You will have the scallops. I'm like, yeah. We get to the restaurant, every person in there registers William Shatner. You walk by and people are like, people dig him so much. I mean, he was like lit up the place. No one said anything. Everyone was like, we sit down. I meet Scallop Man. Hello, Scallop Man. Oh, the guy from the Eastern Seaboard. He is. Henry, it's Scallop Man. Okay. Chef comes out. Mr. Shatner, welcome to the restaurant. I must tell you, sir, these are the finest scallops I've ever had the pleasure of cooking. I know. They're amazing. So we eat the scallops. They're very nice, I guess. I don't know a great deal about scallops, but they were like butter. And so later, when we go back to the studio, I whip out my camera and just totally interrogate Adrian Belew. The guitars, the pedals, his face. Get away from me, no. No, your lens is in my eye. No, shut up. And so I'm interrogating him. You know that thing you did, remember, summer 1983, that tour you were on, there was a bootleg, where you came out first and then Tony Levin came out, and you're like, oh, are you one of those guys? I go, yes, I have all the bootlegs. He's like, get away from me. I went, nope. And so he's heard our track, he knows what to do. We go in and hit it 3 times with Adrian Belew, and he's like doing car screeching, sound, siren, dog barking, rhinos, elephants, all kinds of stuff is coming out of the Stratocaster, and it is totally Godhead. It's Adrian Belew, it's amazing, and there he is. I'm almost fucking up the song by going like, I can't get, let's fucking eat. No, let's do the thing. And so we come to the end of it, it was really good. And I shook hands with him and said, thanks for letting me, kind of drool on you for a minute. And he's very nice, very, very nice man. And I went back to my room, sleep. And got up the next day and flew back home to LA and waited to be here in front of you. This was the waiting game. So that's kind of how the year ended. But this thing I want to tell you real quick, I'll let you go in a minute. I know it's Friday night, I want to get out there and drink shit. Oh, you know me. When I say I'll let you go in a minute, it's another 5 hours.
Where's the free
I ended up getting invited over to his house. Henry, come watch Monday Night Football. I don't know what a halfback does. I read Rambo during those tender years, sir. I read him too. Come to the house. I go over there, he's got this massive screen and all his friends with their wives who are like weigh 80 pounds, tanned like to leather, boob jobs out to here. Oh, I have a right lady, oh my God, it's the important woman. And didn't I see you in Florida stuffed in a gift shop next to the ashtray? So, I watched football on his huge screen and nice. He lives like 5 minutes from me. Anytime, come back. I'm gonna fucking move in. Eat free food. He should have said that shit to me. In his living room, he's got like, a koi carp pond. I'll eat those motherfuckers. I get hungry. I don't care. So I'm going for the fish soon. Anyway, I want to tell you about this thing that happened. Several weeks before all that other stuff happened, this happened. LA County asked me to be a juror. Why is this funny to you? You can be a juror! Yes, I can. Good job. Innocent before proven guilty. Weigh the evidence impartially. Listen to your fellow jurors. Use your common sense. That's right. And so I'd never been called before. And so I'm okay, and I got my, that big slip they give you, the big red stripe on it, and I went downtown. And downtown LA, some of you have been there, there's no good reason for you to be down there. Don't go unless you're in trouble. I mean, there's nothing but, big square anonymous buildings, there's no stores, there's no nothing. Hill Street, Spring Street. But what it is is courtrooms. 600 of them, literally. LA County is like fucking crime central. So you drive, you park your car, and the streets and the sidewalks are swollen with people. People holding the red envelope jurors. Then there's like the lawyers, like they look like Welcome Back Cotter with his bad suit, elbow patches, with like case folders like this, like 90 pounds of paper, walking with some gangster guy in a JCPenney suit. And you're like, oh God, this is so depressing. And you go down the hallway and it says nothing but like jurors and judges and bailiffs and cops and bad guys and lawyers and all these fucked up people holding Starbucks coffee cups. I go into this room, I sit down, fill out my thing, and I wait to get the lecture. A man stands up on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the LA County Penal Colony Justice thing. And he goes through everything you need to know to be a juror. The common sense drill, you don't need to be a lawyer or a cop, just listen carefully, listen to your fellow jurors, and weigh the evidence. And if you can't be a juror today because of a job, go into this room, sign this piece of paper, we'll see what we can do for you. Are there any questions? Hand goes up. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had a question. If I can't be a juror today because of a job, what do I do? The guy spent 10 minutes, 5 minutes ago talking about it. Few people in the room kind of go, oh, bonehead. But most people kind of go like, yeah, like he said. I'm like, come on, no. That's why you don't want to do crime, folks. Forget the jail time. You got to hang out with a bunch of dummies until they hit you with a guilty verdict. And these are the people who are going to be deciding your fate. They don't, I don't know when to happen. And they let these people drive, and they let them go to Ben Affleck films, and they give them John Grisham books and go, here, it's real good. And so I'm like, okay. And then he leaves, and a woman gets up on the platform and says the whole thing over again. So it's like the second code of information on your prefrontal cortex. And okay, so here's what you do in case you can't work, do this, do that. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yeah, if I can't be a juror because I have a job, what do I do? And more people kind of go, oh my God. About another 100 people go like, yeah, what he said. And so she explains again patiently. And then another guy raises his hand. Yes, sir. Yeah, you said that I don't have to be a detective or a lawyer or anything to be a good juror, that, you know, the person is innocent until proven guilty, listen to my fellow jurors, weigh the evidence, and be impartial, and utilize my common sense. Yes, sir. What's your question? Well, what if I don't have any common sense? Well, a few people laugh, like, oh, yeah, he's so funny. And the guy's like, just straight face, like, and then a few people like, yeah, like he said about not having, what kind of sense was that? I guess I don't have any. And mercifully, at that moment, you know, juror 811-5, I'm like, that's me. And so I go into this room with like 30 other people. We sit down in Judge Silverstein's courtroom. And there's the judge, male prosecutor, female defense lawyer, some young man I found out allegedly shot and murdered one person and wounded another with a handgun. There's the clerk and the bailiff. And the guy goes, welcome to my courtroom, I'm Judge Silverstein. All of you are potential jurors in my court for this case that will start 3 days from now or tomorrow morning, whatever. And I'm just going to ask some questions, and I want you to answer truthfully to make sure that you all are potential good, comfortable jurors for this case. And answer truthfully, don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed, and we'll hear anything you have to say. Is there anyone in this room who will have a problem being a juror because of a job restriction they have? And a few people raise their hand. It's not because they're dumb, because they didn't get a chance to fill out the paper. And so you're given a microphone, you hand it to the person. This woman goes, yeah, Your Honor, I have 3 kids. I have to put them in 2 different daycare centers, 2 in one in the other. They're cross town, so I get up at like 4 in the morning, I take them to school, then I drive 50 miles this way. My job is standing still while a man hits me with a wooden spoon for 14 to 20 hours a day. Then I pick up the children, and since I make $40 a year, I just dig up dirt from the backyard, heat it up, and feed it to them until it's chocolate pudding. Then we do lines of Clorox to knock ourselves out, and we get up 40 minutes later and start over again. And if I am mature, my boss says he'll abduct my kids and boil them for food. So I can't be a juror. And the judge goes, wow, that sounds really intense, but it's not a good enough excuse. Next. And then the next person goes, yeah, I have like 80 kids, 81 kids, 90 wives. I'm wanted in 3 states. I'm on trial for murder in one courtroom down the hall, rape in another, and tax fraud down there. and I work 80 hours a day, and to take the kids to Miami to put them in daycare, and my job is stabbing myself in the face with a knife, and we eat hot lava, and I can't be a juror. And the judge goes, that sounds really intense. Sorry, not a good enough excuse. And obviously I'm exaggerating, but these three people did have this very kind of challenging life, and that's not unique, that's endemic to any American. Your day from 9 to 5 or whatever your shift is difficult. You're looking to bring home the bacon, get in and out of traffic, deal with the asshole at work, the asshole in traffic, the asshole at the store, and the asshole that you've coupled with at home. And so life is a hard deal, and you see these people just trying to get through it, and you feel for them. They got kids, they gotta get up early in the morning, they gotta drive, feed little kids, get off to school, and this person may or may not have shot and killed and injured someone else, and now their life, which is already complicated enough, is now more complicated because of this fucking guy. You feel for these people, so none of them are going to get off. And then he goes, okay, anyone have a religious reason why you can't be a juror? Hand goes up. This guy goes, yes, Your Honor, I'm a pacifist. The judge went, wow, a pacifist, you can go. And we're like, give me a hacky sack, check this out. I love fish. Give me a treat, watch me hug it. Smell me, I don't wash, I just put patchouli on myself. I love the environment, clean air, okay. And he goes, nah, you fakers, sit down. We're like, yeah, shit. And he profiles us. Anyone in law enforcement married to anyone in law enforcement? Like half the hands go up. I'm a sheriff, I'm a detective, I'm an undercover cop. I'm married to one. And they get one last question. Has anyone in this room ever been involved in a gang-related homicide? And everyone's like, oh yeah, right. I'm like, oh man, because that would be me. I have witnessed one years ago. And the guy goes, juror 811-5, is that true? I said, I'm gonna lie to you. And he went, okay, please remain seated. I'd like to clear the courtroom, please. Bailiff lets everyone out. It's just me, bailiff, clerk, defendant, defense lawyer, prosecutor, judge. And the judge is a really nice guy. He goes, oh, juror 811-5, are you still sad about it? I went, and the answer I gave him, I don't think he was really ready for. Judging from the way the bailiff nearly punched my lights out, I don't think anyone talks to a judge like that. I went, Your Honor, I'm not sad about it anymore. I am, however, still really fucking pissed off. The veins on the bailiff's neck come out, like, and the judge's like, whoa! I'm like, I'm pissed, I'm mad. He goes, whoa, okay. Do you think this would preclude you from being a good juror? I go, I don't know. I know the job. You know, weigh the evidence, be impartial. This fucking skell, proven guilty. And the defendant guy's like, get him away from me. The defense guy's like, who the fuck is this guy? And I said, hey, defense lady, hey lady, if I were you, I wouldn't want me on your jury because, you know, I'm an emotional guy. And they went, you can go. And I was out of there, man. They cut me loose. They said, go back to the room wait for reassignment. So I went back to the room and waited. By 4 p.m., they did not need me anymore, which means I am free from jury duty for another 365 days. So I get back in the car and I go in traffic and get my way back into Hollywood. Now, I told you all this to ask you this hypothetical question, or to, not so you have to answer back, but I want to pose this to you. What if everybody who did crime just stopped? I'm going to rob a liquor store. No, I'm not. I'm going to rape somebody. No, I'm not. I'm just going to do what Henry does. What if crime stopped? Things would get better? Yes, but at the same time they were getting better, they'd also get worse. Why? Because all the jury guys would be out of a job. The judge would have nothing to bang a gavel about. He'd walk around his room naked with a robe on. Honey, can I judge you? Get away from me! I just want to hit the gavel and say, hit yourself in the head with it, okay? And all the jailers, there wouldn't be no one to lock up. And all the cops would be like, I want to shoot something, man. And if things got better here, all those people would be unemployed. We have a worse unemployment problem than we do now. So isn't it weird to live in a country where if things got better, they would get worse? And if they got worse, they somehow get better. And if you have no crime in this country for long enough, someone will start encouraging you to perpetrate crime to get these people a job again, to pick the economy up. We're not selling enough burglar alarms. Smith & Wesson, the stock is sagging. And then, what kind of ads would those be like? Like PSAs for crime. Hey man, Looking for fun on a Friday night? There's women out there, lots of them. Come on down, get some roofies. Get out there, date rape, come on. Hey, you white-collar motherfuckers, why don't you go defraud some people? How about a bunch of them? Look at Ken Lay, take this seminar. Come on, let's get this party started right. And it's just weird to live in a country that is the best one under the sun, yet still has so much work to be done. And we got problems, and that's why I was really offended when the president says we should go to Mars. And he just can't see the task of Damocles dangling in front of him. Like dirty water, Junior can't read. No, I want to go to Mars. No, asshole, fix this. But it's boring, and I can't get it done in my administration. I can't take any credit for it. It means listening to people gripe and listening to welfare mothers and actually having to teach people of different skin color than my own how to read. Fix it, asshole. No, I want to go to Mars. I want to go to Mars. I want to go to Mars. And so to fix this country, we can do it. You and I, we concerned people, we can do it with what we have here. We just have to wanna, and you can't wait around for any local government type to do it because they're busy getting reelected and kissing babies and kissing ass and trying to get up the ladder. It's now down to people like yourselves, people like me, civically minded people who will just look at things and just go, not on my watch, motherfucker, and seek to change it. In spite of that government ennui we suffer every year, it is absolutely mandatory that everyone in here of a voting age you gotta vote this year. You gotta vote. Who you vote for is none of my business and none of my concern. I don't care, because it's none of my damn business. And anyone who says, hey dude, what about that? You're called unpatriotic. And you can call me a lot of things, short, gray, bloviating, ill-informed, egomaniac, and it's all true. But don't ever call me not patriotic, because it's just not even close to the truth. And so vote this year, and never, ever, ever give up on the United States of America. Thanks a lot for having me. Good night. Thanks. Thanks for the warning. You're very brave. See you next time.